They say the broadcast won't be recorded.
Yeah, what about Kashari? Somebody check. Nah.
Con.
Good.
Con.
All right, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites of Lions Den Camp. And we come out every week, prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom, and also to usher in the return of our Lord and Savior, our King, Yahweh Shai, and to give praises to the Most High Yahweh upon this earth. All right, and reaching the elect. But before we do so, we want to give praises to the Most High and through His Son in the Lashawan Kodash, which means the holy tongue. All right, say call.
Alayim.
Allah. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem.
Hashem.
Yahushai.
Hashem.
Rakah.
Kodash.
Mama.
Mama.
All right, double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders, and shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim, children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right, and the reason we open up with that is because you're supposed to open up with every letter. It's supposed to have what? A return descendant. What'd you call that?
A recipient.
A recipient on it. Yeah. All right. Every letter in the Bible, you see Paul wrote a letter to a certain church. He would say from Paul in the name of Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. All right. And we'll give honors to the people that taught him. All right. So let's start with today. We're gonna get into this article. If I can find my phone. All right. Somebody I'm gonna read it. I'll read it. It's an article on Newsweek about a lady named Nicole Arbers. All right, Nicole Arbers. All right, and she did something with Childish Gambino. This Is America. She made a new version of that for women. All right, so she got famous and all that, right? Women's rights. But then recently she made a statement, and the whole internet went crazy. This is a statement she made. I'm gonna skip past all the other stuff with the women. But she said, "I am so sick of people mad at slavery." She said she's so sick of people that are mad at slavery, like they want us to forget it. You see that? Now, what is that called when they're trying to erase it up in schools? Critical race theory. And then on top of that, Then on top of that, to back it up, you have people like Will Smith coming out with the movie Emancipation. Yesterday, I watched it last night. I was up till 4 in the morning watching it. And that's probably one of the best renditions of slavery that I've ever seen. Besides Goodbye Uncle Tom. Yeah. You know, and Birth of a Nation. It says, "I am so sick of people mad at slavery." Like, we're not supposed to be upset that we went into slavery. All right, Arbor, who is 32, she wrote in it, and since she deleted it. She said, "It's the past. We weren't even there." All right, I know scripture probably coming to mind. We weren't even there. We didn't do it. But what we can do is fix economic slavery and focus on the now. Focus on the now, man. That's what she's saying. She wanted to focus on the now. And that's what those elite Edomites are saying to people like Kanye, Kyrie Irving. That's the message. They want us to forget everything their forefathers have done. All right? They want us to forget it. That's why they have that, what's it called? I can't remember that word for nothing. That critical race theory. That's when they're trying to do away with the stories that were told about racism and about slavery in the schools. They want to do away with it. Just like they want to do away with the Bible. Why? Because they're bringing in a new world order. And in their new world order, they don't want the truth being told. They don't want the history still hanging on their back like a dead man. All right? So let's get into some scriptures to show that not only did we remember what they've done, but the Most High remembers. Yahweh Shah remembers. And he's about to bring his judgment. All right? So let's start off with Deuteronomy 30 and 1. Okay, because it's in the scriptures, man. Go ahead. They might be able to erase it from their little schools where they indoctrinate our children, especially ever since women's lib, where they took the woman out of the household. And now what you do with the children when the woman out of the household, they said you couldn't marry multiple wives. All right, so they took away that tribal aspect, and then they take your wife out of the household, make her work so they can tax her, and then what? The child has to go to their schools from kindergarten up with the threat of arrest and jail time if you don't send your child to their schools. So what does that leave? Complete indoctrination of a paganistic, racist, satanic system. All right, go ahead.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter.
That's right. Now you putting your camera.
As real as it gets.
That's right.
Because that satanic doctrine, man, they trying to lead everybody with these lies. Don't nobody believe that.
That's right, brother. All right,
God
man.
bless y'all, man.
Hey,
I'm sorry to bother y'all, but you speaking on my heart, bro. And I know you don't know me. You speaking on my heart, man. God bless y'all, man.
All right, man. Real recognize real, man. Real recognize real.
Bro. I was just saying the same thing yesterday, bro.
That's right.
The same thing.
Yeah.
It don't matter what color your skin is.
Nah.
Slavery is slavery, bro. And I'm sorry, I can't listen.
Yeah.
I can't compare myself to what I'm talking about. But God loves y'all, man. God loves me. And he put me in this path. I love y'all, man. Y'all stay blessed.
Hey, that's right, man. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you too, bro. Take it easy, man. Let's get it.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, and verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy power have driven thee.
Right. So now, after the blessings and the curses, see, the Lord blessed us, and then the curses came. See that? He said, "What? Somebody get that? Israel wax fat." See, the Lord blessed us with the land. He brought us into the promised land. You know, he took care of us, gave us harvest. That's why we had to feast the first fruit. You know, the Lord was blessing our land. He blessed us with material gain, with houses and all kinds of stuff, man, and family, and also the laws. Somebody got that? Wax fat. Yeah, take your time. You good?
Deuteronomy 32 and 15.
Yeah, let's get that one. Great.
Yesharon have wax fat.
Yes, Deuteronomy 32 and 15.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15. But Jehoram, Jeshurun, Salaki, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing with Salaki. Thou art waxing fat. Thou art grown kicked. Thou art covered with fatness.
Right.
Then he forsook Yahweh, which made him and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
Woo! See that? See that? So the Lord raised our people up, gave us wealth. That word fat means to increase in riches, increase in wealth, increase in gain, okay? Or greatness. All right? So Jeshurun, which means upright one, I think, or Yashawan. And he said what? The Israelites have been blessed. And once we got blessed, that's when our people waxed fat and riches and wealth and whatever. And then they kicked and rebelled against the Lord. So with that in mind, it's not just about remembering what Esau did to us. It's about remembering what got us in this place in the first place. When I was watching that movie Emancipation, let me get to the point. I heard you too. I was watching that movie Emancipation last night. I had a different view on it for some reason. I wasn't just looking at what Esau was doing. I was looking at it like, damn, what the hell did we do? I mean, if I wasn't in the truth, I already know what we did. But if I'm looking at these people getting their ass kicked the way they do it in that movie, what did those people do? They did something wrong to deserve that punishment, man. Because Esau was on their ass. They had a whole
make them that bad.
make them that bad, man. So we know there's a God out there. His name Yahweh, and He instilled that in Esau. He created the hunter upon the earth to hunt down the prey, which was going to be us in that time. He created a damn hunter like the boogeyman, chasing us all over the earth. You know, and so in that movie, he told Will Smith that he was his guy, the hunter. And it was a movie about a guy named Peter, a slave named Peter from Haiti. Right? Kind of looked like you a little bit, right? I'm joking about it, you know, he did look like a guy. And he was a Frenchman. I think he spoke French. And the guy name was Peter, which means rock. Well, the thing is, y'all know that picture we use on all the slavery joints. And his back was all ripped up. Mm-hmm. Is it on that one? I don't think it's on that one.
It was on the back of this one.
It was on the back of this one. Yeah. Okay, it's not on this one. No, it's the everybody know that picture. Oh.
Yeah, it has them like
that one.
Yeah,
he made the movie about that. Oh. And in the movie, he acted it out. Like he said, yeah, raise your arm up right here, so it looks like you like showing your back. He's like, get off me, don't touch me. I can do it myself. He just got finished fighting an alligator before that. Crocodile. He fought it and won. And then he sat down and took the picture for them people, and they said, show your back. And that's what we see on that picture, him. That movie deep, man. But anyway, get back on point. It had me thinking, like, yo, what did we do? We did something wrong, man. So we can't forget. We shouldn't forget. There you go. You can show it. That's what the movie's about. And I see why Will Smith did it. He looked like Will Smith. All right? But that was a great movie. Everybody should see it, man. You know, so it had me thinking, like, what did we do? So Esau wanted us to forget. You know, to CYA cover their damn ass. You know, to cover their own asses. But we shouldn't forget. Why? So we can repent. You got to know your past. You got to know your past to know where you're going. All right? Go ahead. So we know, you had a precept too, right? So if we know our past, we'll know that we are the ones that the Lord said, the first shall be last, but the last is going to be first. So we should hang on to the promise. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 7. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen fat, and thou art come to an excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare.
Right.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
basically saying the Lord beautified us. That's basically what he's saying right there. He beautified Israel. What else could he do to his garden? All right, go ahead.
It says, I swore unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, and thou becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water, yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil.
That's right, man. He washed away the sins from us. All right? When we were just born out of Egypt. And the Lord wiped the sins of Egypt away from us through the laws. All right? Go ahead. He swallowed us like a baby. But then we grew up and became rebellious.
I clothed thee also with broidered work, and I shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk.
There you go, man. He gave us a culture. He gave us a name in the world, Israel. And he gave us laws, all right, and a promise. But our people still rebelled against that. See that? So that's why we shouldn't forget it. We should remember this. But Esau, it's nothing to them. They say, hey, people shouldn't be so mad about slavery. We should just forget it. Well, it's not just about the pain that we went through. It's about what got us to that point in the first place. When somebody goes and hurt themselves, or your child hurt themselves, you say, you can focus on the pain, or you can focus on what got them into that situation to teach them to never do it again.
Skip down to verse 15. It says, but thou didst trust in thine own beauty. Yep. Thou playedest the harlot because of thy renown. Oh, what's that? Renown?
Oh, the fame. Yeah, renown.
Okay.
Yeah, the fame.
Because of thy renown and powerness, pourest out thy fornication on every one that passes by. His it was, And of thy garments thou didst take and deck thy high places with diverse color, and playedest the harlot thereupon, like the thing shall not come, neither shall it be so.
Right. So they try to use their gain and think that that was godliness. No, the Lord was showing them that the truth and the wisdom was godliness. And the marriage that he had with Yahweh, that our people had, but not the riches, not the wealth. That's not what makes you who you are. But our people use that to draw in these nations like Sheba and them, you know, to draw them in. And once they got there, they profess their wickedness and become like wild grapes and learn from them. And they share in that adultery, meaning the spiritual adultery, that wickedness.
And boom, that's funny because I'm reading the book of Acts and Acts like 19. Paul was on his way to Ephesus, and when he got there, Ephesus, and when he got there, some of the noblemen of the land, there was a goldsmith, and he was making they had a big temple for Diana,
yeah,
the Queen of Heaven.
That's Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah. They had a temple, and they were so pissed off that Paul came into the town and was teaching against that, to where they wanted to kill Paul, man. And they had a council against Paul about coming there, because like they were like, here we worship her, and they were still passing the children through the fire, sacrificing to her, baking cakes to her like they were doing in the book of Jeremiah. So our people are so hell bent on idol worship, to where like you would think, yeah, they did deserve that, because we did, because of how we went off, man.
Right. And even today, you'll see Jake, when they get more rich, what do? They become more wicked.
God.
You know, when they're in the hood, they all good.
Yeah.
You know, they all about the family and the neighborhood, the people. They still wicked. But as soon as they get that money, you start seeing blonde hair. Jake sell out quick, boy. Nails. I'm talking about men.
Oh, yeah, paint the nails.
Oh, yeah, damn, them too.
Yeah.
They get that money, become more wicked, more power.
That the scriptures refer to Jake, all right, which were 2/3 of our people of being, Jake in general of being the salt of the earth. But the scripture also speaks on how our deeds surpass the wicked. So just as Jake being the salt of the earth, when they come to wickedness, they be the salt in that. They be the best in that, you know.
All right. All right, man. They want to outdo the wicked. What's up? All right, man. You had a preacher thing.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 2. Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith the Lord, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown. Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase.
There you go. So Israel was separated unto the Lord and the first fruits of his increase. Why? Because the Lord going to start with Israel first, and then he's going to take over the rest of the world, man. All right? That's what that all the nations shall come and serve the Most High. But it's going to start with Israel first. We're going to be the delegates over that. You know, the teachers. The one that's going to teach these nations and whip their ass into order. All right? So he said, what? We were separated unto him, man. We were rich. But then we went off. We broke that covenant with Yahweh. So now the Lord has restored the covenant, promised us a new covenant through Yahweh. All right? Let's keep going. Go ahead, precept. All right, let's read these real quick and get down here, bro.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 21. It says, how long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding.
Yeah, you can speak on.
And our people are definitely sottish children. You know what I'm saying? They are definitely a rebellious nation. You know, not wanting to hearken unto Yahweh Shai, man, who is their creator and who is their power. But they're rather, go and dwell in the strangers. You know what I'm saying? Dwelling with the strangers, man, like Esau and these other nations.
Right, brother.
It says, and they have no understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. So, hey, again, our people are wise to do evil. You know what I'm saying? They increased in sin. You know what I'm saying? They're more wicked than the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And that's why our people are still in this predicament that they are in today, because they still want to forsake the Lord, man.
Right. All right, so that word sottish means foolish. All right. Go ahead, can I, real quick?
All right, this is Isaiah
Yep.
chapter 5, verse 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard that have not been that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Right, man. Yep.
Now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof.
Oh, there you go. He took away the hedge, all right? Right? He took away our protection, and that's how we went into slavery. That's what he's going to do to his vineyard. He's going to let the thieves come in and take from him. That's right.
And it shall be eaten up and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
There you go.
And I will lay it waste, and it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns, and I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
There you go, man. We ain't even have any harvest anymore. And the Lord was bringing famine and drought, everything against us. All because we went against the Lord. We betrayed, rebelled. Right? So, so that damn demon, whoever that lady is, that said we should forget slavery, that she wanted us to forget what got us into slavery in the first place. She's really asking us to forget the Most High. All right? She asking us to forget our ancestors. She asking us to forget those souls that died in slavery, man. Piles of people built under the Federal Reserve building, buried in New York, buried under certain churches. We walk on grounds in Florida, especially Jacksonville, that are graveyards. And you don't even know it. It could be a park. And there's bodies buried under there, man. That was murdered, and nobody took account of their names or nothing. So they want us to forget that. Why? Why? So they can feel privileged to not have us in their presence? So they can feel privileged to not feel that guilt? Well, the Lord said what in Obadiah? The shame.
Shame shall cover it.
That's right. It's going to happen. Let's get that one whenever you can. Real quick. Wait, I didn't even get it that fast.
It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Yep.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
There you go. All right. They're going to be cut off forever for that. It ain't got nothing to do with us anymore. It's out of our hands. The Lord said, oh, you go and drink of that cup. He said, sure, shame is going to surely cover thee. The same way death takes over a person. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. The same way slavery took over us. And we were groping in the dark and we didn't know what the hell was going on. All right? The Lord was bringing the scourges against us. And he's going to bring the same thing on them devils, man. All right? And they don't have to remember it. The Lord remembers it, man. We weren't even here to see everything. A lot of us died and came back to this damn earth. But the Most High kept the account. He kept the record. All right, go ahead.
It's Psalms 137 and 8.
Right.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall it be that reward of thee as thou hast served us.
That's right, man. And we're going to remember it. And he said we're going to do according to the Lord's anger because he remembers stuff we don't. All right? If the Lord can put in our mind today what we went through in the slavery, we'll probably die. From the frightening thoughts and the pain and the memory.
And it will create a real strong sense of social anxiety because you wouldn't be able to look at Esau the same. Because you would see like we understand, we see through pictures what they're capable of, but imagine having a vivid imagery or seeing that face to face and you can do nothing about it at that time.
Like right now. It's just now we don't know who the enemy is.
God.
The Lord set it up perfect. If I put these fools back down there on this earth and I tell them Esau is the Caucasian race,
God.
The Lord mixed everybody. He got everybody looking different. Just like he made it, he brought everything back to a spiritual time where you're forced to be spiritual.
Just like in Genesis.
I was gonna go there, but I don't know if we're going with anybody here.
Yeah, come.
Just like in Genesis, during the times of the Adamites, you couldn't tell who was of the Lord and who wasn't, right? Just by looking at them. So the Lord made it spiritual again.
So you can only tell by their actions.
By their breath. By the breath.
Huh.
You know? Some got bad breath. Got good breath. All right, go ahead.
Some of them got halitosis.
Yeah, they got halitosis.
This is Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1.
Right.
Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And that's what that lady was saying in that article. She said we don't need to focus on the physical slavery that happened to us in the past. We need to focus on this economic slavery that's happening to us right now.
Which puts us in more economical slavery.
That economic slavery puts us in physical slavery, because now they're holding all the resources. You're not supposed to go on. Of course, you know, you get a job, daily bread, stuff like that. When it comes to hope, faith, and salvation, you're not supposed to be giving that unto them. You're supposed to be giving that unto the Lord.
Right. Somebody get Sirach 13 and 3. All right, man. See the slave was forced to act a certain way in their responses, just like the rich or the slave master or these elites are forced to act the way. You good?
Just had to stretch. I had to stretch.
We're giving signals or something.
Nah. Backwards on the spasm.
All right, but yeah, the rich, which would represent Esau in these times, right? When they respond, they have to respond a certain way, which is going to be from an authority seat or a thievery point of view. When the poor respond, they have to entreat the rich. They can't go up to them and say everything they want to say. They're going to trim their way to seek love. You know,
not to get their ass kicked.
Right, or us, just like us, we're sent here as sheep amongst wolves. You know, why is the serpent harmless as doves? Meaning we have to be passive aggressive. All right. So look at that. Sirach.
This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 13, verse 3. The rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal.
See, they've done wrong, and they still threaten. You see that? And they still threatening us, man. Our people. And they've done wrong. They've done the slavery, and they still threaten to this day. The Khazars and those elite Edomites. Go ahead.
The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also.
See, he must entreat also, right? Look at that word entreat. It says to entreat means to ask a person earnestly, beg or plead with, implore, to make an earnest request or petition for something. And that's what they forced us into with civil rights, the voting factor. But you got, what about the black vote?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, we'll go to the mayor. We'll go out and protest. And you know that's the only option you're given in this society. All right. So he said, what? They must entreat also. Go ahead.
Verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
There you go, man. So if you don't have nothing, they're going to forsake you. So that's what the Lord said, what? Don't go down to Egypt for help. Don't look to their system to forgive us. Don't look to these Edomites. How you going to ask the slave owner to give you kindness or mercy? You get what I'm saying? All right. That was it on that. He said what? He must entreat also. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it.
There you go, man. Look what they did to the Gadites. Not just Judah and Benjamin. Look what he did to Gad. You seen that Gad had all the resources. When he saw that, they showed it on that movie Avatar. Esau came in as an imposter, started killing all the animals, almost got eaten by the fucking dog-looking animal. And she said, it's your fault because you act like a fucking baby. And you don't know what you're doing out here. Because you don't know what you're doing in this world, you're causing the animals to attack you, which leads you to kill them. And that's Esau, a child. The Lord said that children rule over them. All right. But later on in that movie, the woman shows them how to watch the animals and take, you know what I mean, before they attack. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Understand
my points a little bit. Okay.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 41, starting at verse 6. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their prosperity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of ungodly fathers, because they shall be reproached for their sake. So ultimately, Esau these days is being reproached for the sins of their forefathers. The scriptures say in Isaiah 14 and 21 that they basically gonna pay for the sins of their forefathers.
Yep. And in Revelation 11 and 8. What it say? Their children shall seek to please the poor. All right, where we at? Somebody holding the precept? Something like that. All right. Because the point was, he said, what? Those that's trying to go down to Egypt for help, looking to Egypt for reparations,
for emancipation.
Right, emancipation, right? But they can't set us free. All right, their freedom is inside of a bubble. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna give you VR for freedom.
Right.
Metaverse.
So they built the system of oppression first, and they said, now you can run free into that system. Huh? I don't care what she rolling. You know what I mean? She didn't roll his bald-headed ass up the street. That's what she needs to roll. Roll his overweight ass up the street. That's what he did. All right, go ahead, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and they cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Right, because you trust in the shadow of Egypt, you trust in the covering of Egypt or America, then you're going to be looking for things like that, crying out for answers, going to them for everything. You know, and what Esau gonna tell you? Yeah, just forget it. It never happened. You know, the best thing you can do is forget it, because you ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying.
Right.
So they want to write it out of history because they feel like they're that close to their new world order, man. A new world order to where they don't have to look at what they did to Jake, man. But the Lord says shame is definitely gonna cover their ass. All right.
Then the scripture also say faith is the substance of things hoped for. Our people have more faith in this place because they see the EBT, they see the social security checks, they see the military jets flying. They believe in all that, but they don't believe in the Redeemer that's coming to save us. They think Esau and these military, all this stuff gonna come save us. We're really to our demise. But our people are blinded to it and don't see it. So when salvation comes, they ain't gonna know what they're looking at.
God, and ultimately, by her saying she wants us to forget slavery, she wants us to forget the covenant we have between the Lord. But that's a part of the covenant. We had to go through this in order to get back to the covenant. Just like she wants us to forget Yahushua and the sacrifice he made in order for us to be able to be brought back to the Father. That's it. Forgetting slavery is ultimately forgetting the journey that we're going through to get to the kingdom.
Right, man. All right, we'll get back to this real quick too.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, start from the top. Chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings, the curse.
Right, we had the blessings, we waxed fat and kicked, but then the curse, Deuteronomy 28, you know? The curse is us going into slavery. Go ahead, brother.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy power have driven thee.
Right, so he said what? Remember it among the nations. We're going to call it to remembrance. But we listen to the devil, the deceiver, they're going to say things like what? Forget about it. All right, go ahead.
And shalt return unto the Lord thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Right, man. Right.
That then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power has scattered thee.
There you go, man. All right. So we're supposed to remember. This is what we're supposed to hold on to. If we don't remember slavery and all the pain and suffering we went through, you know, what kind of foundation do we have as a people? Like Kanye, he wanted to remember that we were just kings. You know, well, if you only remember that, that's going to wind up making you a tyrant. If you don't remember what parts you should be humbled by, if you don't remember the chastisement that the Father gave us, you don't remember that ass whooping, well, I think we should remember it.
The journey to become a king.
The journey to become a king, man.
And we still on that journey. We still princes right now.
Right. Right. Go ahead, bro.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 10 and verse 13. Wherefore doeth the wicked contemn God? He saith in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, but thou beholdest mischief and spite to require it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless.
Right. You want to see that?
And we represent that fatherless, you know, whose heart has been turned to the Father, man. And that's why we cry out, Abba, Father, man, you know, with the hopes of his mercy and the hopes of being saved. All right.
Right. Somebody get Revelation 2 and 5 real quick.
So lucky. But the main point there was there's a wicked contempt of God, man. You know, no, that's a rhetorical question. The Lord is ultimately going to require it. The wicked think they're going to do wickedly and not going to be judged by it. But the scriptures say, why do the heathen rage? Why do they imagine a vain thing? The Lord is going to require it. The Lord is going to clean your hands off the bloodshed that you have put throughout the corners of the earth. Right, mainly to the apple of his eye, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because they're the Israelites who fight.
Right. Revelation chapter 2, verse 5. Remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and I will remove thy candlestick and put out of his place, except thou repent.
Like you read that
This is Revelation 2 and 5. Remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent.
Yeah. So the Lord said we're supposed to remember. All right, we got to remember from whence we were fallen. You know, but you got the devil telling us something different, that we should forget it. The Lord said, no, remember. All right, go ahead.
Keep going.
No, you got it.
All right. This is Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, for I give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. Right. So that's basically the Lord that calling us to remembrance the things from past, not only from slavery, but from beyond that, from the point that what caused us to go into slavery. So now because slavery didn't teach us who we were. Slavery taught us, gave us a punishment for us transgressing against the Lord. But you know, going back from before time, for the establishment with the covenant, remember who we were, so we could turn back to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai and walk accordingly to that. But she wants us to do contrary.
Yeah, that's right. And she represents the spirit, man. That's what the Lord said that. Somebody get that. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, slavery. It taught us who Esau was. All right, and then our people thinking that Esau was like the top dog, they wanted to be like Esau. So anything that they did to excel in this kingdom, they're trying to be like Esau, because that's the only form of power that they can conceptualize in their mind. Right. That's why she said we need to break away from economic slavery, because she thinks that money she thinks that money is gonna free us.
Right. And their faces is on the damn money.
Right.
So we need all of that to go. You know what I'm saying?
This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
See, it ain't just her. It's about that mindset. So that's why I focused on this article, because it's not about her. It's about, as a conglomerate, this is the way they think. They think that inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So in that forever that they're hoping for, they don't want to remember what they did to us. Go ahead, brother.
How the elder said, it's a spirit. That's why I pointed out that the Edomite woman, when she walked by, she rolled her eyes.
Yep.
Because she first saw us up in her Bible, she did a little fake smile.
Yeah.
As soon as the elder started speaking on our oppression, she rolled her eyes. So that's just the spirit that Esau still carries and have to this day, man.
Boy, they don't think that Yahweh shall exist. They don't think that the judge is out there, that they're going to get judged for that.
Scripture said, they say, who seeth us?
Yeah, let's get it. That's the title of the video. All right, let's keep going. Zechariah 2 and 7, real quick, somebody. Yep. Said, who seeth us, right? I think that was
Zechariah 2 and 7. This is the book of Zechariah 2 verse 7. It says, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
Right, so deliver thyself, O Israel, that dwellest in Babylon. Who is that? The Negro, Latino, Native Americans. All right? Deliver thyself. How do we deliver ourselves? We break the chains. How do we break the chains? The spiritual chains that we're fighting against. Fighting against spiritual wickedness. All right? We break the chains of our people of sin. We break the chains of our people of the yoke of iron that Esau had on our minds. You see that? We break that off, starting with Abba Bivens. Delivering thyself. Go ahead.
It says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me up to the nations which spoil you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
Right. See, they touch the apple of the Lord's eye, his focus on the earth, his first fruits. All right. And they want to forget that? No, they ain't forgetting that.
It says, verse 9, for behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And he shall know that the Lord of hosts, Yahweh shall have sent me.
All right, that was it.
That's it.
All right, Revelations 1 and 18.
I got my who seeth us.
That was that. Yeah.
I got Revelation.
I'll bring it up real quick.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 18. It says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore among.
Oh, so Yahweh is alive forevermore. And he said, what? Hold up. Let me get this real quick. I'm going to send it to one of y'all. All right, he said he's alive forevermore. Is there any more on that?
And I have the keys of hell and of death.
There you go. Not Esau. All right, not Esau. The one that we need to talk to is Yahweh. And guess what he's going to say? Don't forget me. Don't forget what you went through. Don't forget nothing that Esau did. Remember the mystery of iniquity I was telling you all about? Well, hey, you're supposed to reveal him in these times. We're not supposed to forget it. We're supposed to be in the time of revelation. Isaiah 63 and 4.
And Lord, the scripture also said, for us to call to the Lord's remembrance the things that we're going through down here on this earth.
Right, 63 and 4.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come.
There you go, man. Yep. So Yahweh in his heart, he's thinking about it. He says, for the one that lived forever, he's alive forevermore. And he got the day of vengeance in his heart. All right?
Appreciate it.
So what you think supposed to be in our hearts? The same thing he has in his mind. Go ahead, Yahweh.
This book of Proverbs 3 and 32 all the way to 35.
Right, but our people want to forget what these devils did to us. Our people want to forget what got us in this condition in the first place. As our own sins. Go ahead, brother.
Proverbs 3 and 32. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. The course of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he bless the habitation of the just.
See that? And that's why they say on that movie, Emancipation, when one of the slaves was getting beat, he said to Will Smith, he said, Will Smith was talking to one of the guys. He said, "Hey, God loves you." And the dude in chains on the floor getting stabbed and beat up, he jumped in and said, "Yo, how can God love you? You lying to that guy. How does God love us when this is happening to us?" Not Will, but that guy Peter was trying to tell them, "Hey, God loves you because you're in this predicament." Esau, not it. The last gonna be first shall be last, and the last shall be first. You're set up for the blessing, and they're set up for the curse.
That's why the scriptures say better the end of a thing than the beginning.
Right. The Lord saying he loved his what? The ones he chastened. He said, God loves you because he chastening you. All right, let's get that too. But Go ahead. Keep going.
Proverbs 3:34. Certainly, he has scorned the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lovely. The wise should inherit and glory, but shame should be the promotion of fools.
Yeah.
So shame, just like we spoke about in Obadiah, shame's gonna cover Esau, man. So you can try to forget all you want to. The Lord ain't gonna forget. He said he's angry with the wicked every day. So every day that goes by, he gets more angry and angry, ready to bring judgment down here on the earth. Right. So you can those hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Right. While she trying to say forget all that and kumbaya, let's get money. The Lord got a destruction coming for this place.
Yeah, what it say on Lion King. All right, Revelation 3:19. Yeah, Hebrews 12:6. Revelation 3:19. I need this precept.
This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 19. It says, "As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent."
There you go, man. So the Lord said, be zealous and repent. Be compassionate. Show passion for this truth and for the Lord and repent, meaning turn back. How you going to turn back if you don't know where the past is at? You don't know what to go back to because they said forget it. But he said what? Be zealous for the truth and repent. All right? And he said what? As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten, man. So the Lord has rebuked us and he's chastened us to correct us, okay? And that's why Will Smith in that movie was saying that to that man, that the brother that was a slave, saying, hey, the Lord loves you, man. All right. Hebrews 12:6.
This is Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord Yahweh loveth, he chastiseth and scorneth every son whom he receiveth.
There you go. So the one that you're going to receive is the child that you whoop and they respect you. So the Lord whooped us. He put us in slavery. That's why you had that movie Emancipation. It's all throughout Deuteronomy 20:28 about the slave ships, about the punishment we will go through. You know, getting whips to our back, coming over here in slave ships. That's in Deuteronomy about the children of Israel. Yasha Allah, the Father Yahweh is angry with us. Even till this day, 2/3 of our people that don't want to repent. All right, that want to forget what we did. That want to forget what got us in the predicament in the first place. All right, the Lord said, what? Arise, this is not your rest. Proverbs 13:24, and I'm done with that point. Proverbs 13:24, then we get all these precepts.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24.
Right.
He that spareth his rod hated his son.
Bro, so the Lord, he loves us. See that? Go ahead. But he said, Jacob said, wherein hast thou loved us?
He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasten him chasten him betimes.
Meaning like all the time. All right, ahead of time. All right, always chastening your child. Meaning what? Always pruning and trimming the tree. Afflicting.
I got one.
All right, all into its perfection, just like a bonsai tree. All right, let's get yours, and then let's run these precepts down.
All right, this is Sirach chapter 30, verse 1.
Right.
He that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy in him in the end. Just like you spoke before. Better the end of a thing than the beginning. It's what he's chastening us and making us into gods on the earth. So we had to go through that to purge out all the wickedness that he's seen from the beginning. Yeah. So it's better the end of a thing than the beginning. But right now, in the beginning of the stuff, Esau seems to be on his high horse. He seems to be looking good. But what is his end going to be?
Right. And he set the bounds. He also set the bounds of the nations according to the children of Israel. So if Esau didn't come against us, What would the Lord have to judge Esau for? Being cavemen?
Done.
That's it? No, the Lord gave them a reason to be judged now.
Done.
He
Verse,
touched the apple of his eye. Go ahead, bro.
verse 2. He that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintances.
Right. Yep. You're going to rejoice among his acquaintances. Who's acquaintances? The angels.
Done. Like, is there joy in the heavens for one sinner that repenteth, right? So therefore, there's rejoicing, all right, for the chastisement that we go through because of the correction that comes after.
Right. The children of Israel, the Negro, Latinos, Native Americans.
Right.
You know? Father's name is Yahweh. All right.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
So he that teach, we say what? Chastise, teaches?
Teaches, yeah.
He that teacheth his son, right, shall grieve the enemy. See that? So the Lord has been teaching us. And by doing so, it brings what? Grief to these enemies. That's why they put articles out like that, saying they should just forget it. It upsets me that they don't want to forget it. See that? There's grieving to them. All right? That was it on that.
Objection.
Let me get all these real quick. Everybody trying to get their precepts. Look at all of them. You can go first, bro.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 11. And it says, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. And I just brought it out to go with the point that the bishop brought out, because in this captivity, you know, Jake, look at Esau like, yo, they got the money, they got the businesses, they got the status, right? But they envying them not knowing their end, man. Their end is ultimately destruction and judgment for the crimes and persecution of us, man, for the children of Israel. You know, so we should really be, you know, envying, you know, our blessing, you know.
Right, that's what Paul did. Paul showed up to get them to emulate him. He said he wanted them to envy him. You know, they go provocate, they're provoking the jealousy. You know,
and which would make you say at the end times, like when you see the final end of Esau, you're gonna be like, "What's that saying? Boy, I dodged that bullet." That's what the Lord trying to set up by chastising us. We dodging that bullet, which means salvation. All right, us being taken out of the way of the judgment that's to come on this earth on the wicked.
Right, man. But Esau wants us to envy them. Esau wants us to stay upon them. That's what the Lord, Scripture said. We're no longer going to stay upon them that smote us. We're going to stay upon Yahweh that delivers us.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 21. It says, "An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed." All right, you know, hey, just like with Esau, his blessing came by way of him being in a rush to eat buttocks, man. You know, and basically with that, you know, his name was later turned. His name was changed to Edom, all right, which means red. So his blessing was the sword, man, and yet the fatness of the earth in all the riches, you know. So with that being said, just like the brother Gabal was just speaking on, 2/3 of our people want to follow after that, man, not knowing that the end thereof of his blessing is not going to be blessed, man.
Right, having the same lack of faith, hunger pains as Esau had, because they want to eat the venison, they want to eat the lentils now. They want to eat what Esau's eating. They don't want to wait till our table is fully done and we're able to eat it and sup with the Lord. They don't want to do that. They want to eat it now. They have that microwave syndrome. They see Esau living it up, so they want to live it up right along with him, not knowing that he's living it up the wickedness.
Right.
You gotta wait for that. I have an objection.
Go ahead, and then it's coming back down this way.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 12. Now beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be destruction, not to be for destruction, but for a chastising of our nation. And when you, in the same way you think we talking about, you know, train up a child in the way he shall go, that's what Yahweh Shai is doing for our entire nation, training us up in the way that we should go, so we don't depart from it when we get older. When he gives us the kingdom, he's going to give us bodies that we can't depart from. This is verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. And that's truly what it's all about. Yeah, we're getting punished. Yeah, we're going through sufferings right now, but it's for are chastised. It's to make us better.
Good.
He's beating the sword so that way when it's done, it's going to be a sharp, clean polish.
With no imperfections on it.
No imperfections.
So you can't, if you have an imperfection on the sword, you can't cut through the object you need to cut through. It's going to get stuck, and therefore, if it gets stuck, you might not slay or kill or cut through what it's meant to cut through. So the Lord has to prune it and purge it and try it to make it like a fine, sharp threshing instrument.
To make that child, and so that way that child doesn't depart in the way when they get older.
Right, because guess what? And so therefore, like if you train up a child in the way he should go, he's not going to depart from that. But if you don't train him up, just like out of the beginning of the part where the elder said, you take the man's already out working, right? Then you take the woman out of the house to work, right? So now who's left to train up the child in the way it should go? This system. So it's going to be trained up to go according to this system. So there's nothing. So now this system, especially if you're a Jake, this system is going to beat his ass, right? And there's going to be no correction on that. So then he just becomes a wild, traumatized child with no guidance, a monster. You know. So there's with no direction. That's why you see our people in the ghettos in the hood killing each other, man, because of they're not trained up in the way they should go, and they see the chastisement of the Lord as an enemy. Right. So what do? They cleave onto the system some way, shape, or form. If you're selling drugs in the hood, that's still part of this system.
This is Jeremiah 13:25. This is thy lot, the portion of thy measures from me, saith Yahweh, because thou hast forgotten me and trusted in falsehood.
Ooh. So now she wants us to go further into more ass whooping from the Lord.
Yeah, one more. Jeremiah 2:32. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number.
A maid without any cleaning supplies, can they clean anything? Can they be a maid? With a bride without her attire on, without a wedding garment on, all right? Can she be a bride? So we have to have but our people forgot about Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and this individual, whatever her name is, wants our people to stay in that frame of mind.
Right.
But those that believe, right? You that believe are not going to forget. You're going to forever remember, because why? You're going to constantly stay in this book. Right. And this book is going to continue to bring us to remembrance the things of old.
Right. Her name is Nicole Arbor.
Nicole Arbor.
Right.
This book of 1 Corinthians 4:11 all the way to 13. Even unto this present hour, we both hungry and thirsty, and are naked, and are buffeted, and have not certain diligent place, and labor working with our own hands.
Right, these are some of the prophets right here.
Come. Vain revealed, we bless, vain persecute, we suffer it. Vain defame, we entreat, we are made as the filth of the world, and are they of corning of all things unto this day.
So basically, like the prophets are looked at as great men. So you go back to Ecclesiastes, there was a poor man that saved the whole city, but that was a poor wise man that saved the whole city. And the prophets represent those poor wise men. We go through affliction and persecution and also chastisement to keep us in the frame of mind of calling upon the Lord, asking him for strength, not going back to Egypt for help. But understanding you're going to suffer no matter what side of the fence you're on. Are you going to suffer for righteousness' sake, or are you going to suffer for vanity, man?
Yeah, look at all of them. Let's go ahead, brother, real quick. You want to bring it up?
This is Proverbs chapter 23, verse 1. When thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou to be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. And that's how Esau deceived our people. With his junk food, he had passing out EBT and all this other stuff to distract our people. When the Lord has a table set up for us in the presence of our enemies, that's going to cause us to be filled and not hungry again. But 2/3 of our people rather go around hungry all day. They want the king's meat.
Right, that would be the economy. That'd be the economic view she was talking about. Okay. Yep, that's right. So, yep. She said what? We should focus more on economy. focus on what? Getting more money for black businesses.
Yeah.
She must not. She must have forgot Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely got it.
Look what happened to Kanye.
God, she forgot that too.
Yeah, Kanye made deals with the devil. Now look at him. So now you got so-called black-owned sneaker companies trying to sign Kyrie since they kicked him off of Nike. See that? Trying to build the black vote, build the black community. We don't got time for that. We trying to get the hell out of here. We want to see them underfoot. We want to see what the Lord promised us, man. And the Lord said, well, he's going to bring us into remembrance. These devils want us to forget. But the Lord said he wants us to remember. All right?
So by her being like that, she's an enemy to the Lord.
Interjection on the point? Yeah, if it's on the point, I'm going to get it.
This Amos chapter 8 and verse 4. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon go by, that we may sell corn in the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit, that we may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes, and sell the refuse of the wheat. The Lord have sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I would never forget any of their works.
Wow.
You know, so the Lord is not going to forget, as much as people like to run the rat race and continue on and aid and dab that untempered water, man, the system.
Right, and mainly that's 2/3 of our people coming to the beckoning call of Esau to help oppress us even more, and without even getting any financial gain. They're waiting for the Sabbath to be over. They're waiting for us to be out of the way so they can be partakers with Esau in this system. They're sick and tired. The reason why she wants us to forget that is because she's really sick and tired of us talking on the internet about the wickedness that Esau done. So she's like First Maccabees 1:11. Hey, let's go make a covenant with the enemy that are around. But to her, they're not the enemy. We're the enemy.
Right. Right, man.
They want to continue in sin. They want to crucify the Lord afresh daily.
Right. Psalms 83 and 1. Go ahead, brother. Oh, wait. How was that, Patty? Go ahead, brother.
I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14, because see, the Edomites,
You got it?
by us remembering what they did to us, it's going to remind them of the punishment and the sin of the destruction of this kingdom here. Verse 14, put yourself in array against Babylon, around about, all ye that bend their bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahweh. And they don't want to remember that, and they don't want us to keep talking about our past. But it's gonna come to happen sooner than what they think.
Beautiful point, man. But yeah, they want us to forget. What about the Most High? They try to point at us. No, don't try to point at us.
Oh, it's not good.
We're pointing at the sky saying, hey, we need the Lord to forget. He ain't gonna forget. You know? So they want the Most High to forget it. Nah, the Most High not gonna remember our sins. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they gonna remember that. They want to be down. Nope, like Brandy.
Hey, that's funny.
Yeah. They want to be down like Brandy when they just rage it.
When y'all shot come down, we're like, no, Esau good. They straight.
Yeah.
Man, that goes to they shall seek to please the poor. Remember, like you, the older sibling, you got caught beating on the younger sibling. What you try to do? Like, it's okay. It's okay. Don't tell.
That's what's happening right now.
What you? Okay. You put that.
Say that you fell down.
Say that you fell down. Yeah. Let's go get these.
This is Revelations 6 and 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, Yahweh Shai, holy and true, doesn't thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
So even the spirits didn't forget. Exactly. Look at the blood of Abel. The scriptures say the blood of precious Abel cried out, meaning he was in the heavens crying out for all the atrocities that were done upon the earth by his brother. But now, when our people go into the heavens, they're crying out to the Lord. Just like the day of vengeance is in Yahweh's heart, the top angel. All right? So they're crying to the Most High to come back and avenge us, man. So you think we're not supposed to be doing that upon the earth? Right?
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 4. How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and inflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless.
Right. They break us in pieces, man. Not only our bones, but they broke up families. You know, they broke us up as a nation as well.
Verse 6.
Something crazy, right? Spirit.
They slay the widow and stranger and murder the fatherless, yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Verse 8, understand ye beauties among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise? He that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? And he that chastises the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Blessed is the man who the Lord chasteneth, O Lord, and teacheth him out of thy law. Because ultimately, man, they basically think that the Lord is basically not going to see the things that they're doing here on the earth today, man.
Then one is said, "Thou beautiful among the
what is thy brutish among
Brutus among the people."
Talking about Jake, 2/3. Yeah, 2/3. Yeah, Brutus, man. Yeah. They done escalated this like a call at AT&T, right? They done took it up a notch. We ain't talking about us no more. They talking about the Most High now.
Let me tell. They asked to speak to the manager.
The manager, yeah. They done took it up on Esau now. They can't. You had it. Just read it? Okay. Psalms 83.
Psalms 83. It's Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still.
All right. How are we going to call out for this if we don't remember? We don't know who the enemy is and nothing like that, man.
We don't know who we are.
We don't know who the hell we are. But we got to know who the enemy is to call out for this right here. You know, calling out to the Lord to keep not still against who? Against the enemy. We got to know who the enemy is. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, it says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Oh, no. All right, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
There you go. They that hate thee. Who's that? Esau. They lifted up their head just like a serpent on the ground. Go ahead.
It says,
ready to strike.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right, lifted up their head in pride too, man. Speaking against the Lord. All right, that's that pride of Esau and Obadiah.
And it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Right, they have taken crafty, skillful counsel against us. That's why they have all these different setups like the UN. And what's the other one? The Council of Foreign Relations. The World Economic Forum. You know, all these different united nations, man. That came against us.
We are not a part of.
Nope.
We don't have a seat on the table of nations.
Nope. All right. Not as a nation of Yasha Allah. There's a nation called Israelis on there. We ain't no damn Israelis.
What is that?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's the bootleg copy.
Yeah. Sound like some dress shoes or some shit.
It says, verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance.
See, they don't want it. They don't want our name, the name of Yasha Allah, to be in remembrance. They want it out off the earth. They tried to hide it in the history books. They try to push their history in our face. They try to paint all their movies with their faces, all their money with their faces, all the history books, the iconoclasm, where they whitewashed all the dark-skinned images. So they don't want us to be remembered, man. All right, he said, what? Cast their bands. He said, cast their bands or something.
It says, for they have consulted together with one consent.
One world order. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent. they are confederate against thee.
There you go. That's that Confederate flag.
Charleston White.
Charleston, yep. Charleston White, the dark-skinned Edomite.
The tabernacles of Edom.
Oh, the tabernacles of Edom. All right, and that's why the Lord said that. We can go through a whole list. They go through the Arabs, the Africans, and all of them. They all became conglomerate together. Why? Because the Lord said this. Obadiah 1, real quick, before we move into the other precepts. Obadiah 1. Yeah, yeah.
It's the book of Obadiah.
Right. That's why I named Esau first. This is why.
Verse 1, right? It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, starting at verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sitting among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
So Esau is the ambassador for the heathens. That's it. He said they've done wickedness. They moving on the left-hand side, and Esau, you say what? No vain person in Esau? Yep. Second Ezra 11:45. You good? Second Ezra 11:45. Go ahead. We're gonna get the precepts too, y'all. Go ahead.
All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 24. All right, this is the Lord speaking. It says, wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy place shall be defiled.
Right.
Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none.
Right. The worst of the heathen at that time was Nebuchadnezzar and them. All right. But now it changed. Because the Lord said those curses were going to follow us forever. So say for Deuteronomy 28, you know, we ain't got to get it. But he said there's going to be a sign upon us forever. So anytime we decide to buck up against the Lord, he'll bring a nation against us. But now for this final slavery, this final chastisement, the Lord had brought the worst of the worst. Esau. All right. He said what? Second Ezra 11.
44.
Oh, man, the basis of man.
It might be on, hold up. It's 11. It's at the end. And let me get it real quick. Come through. Boom. All right. It's in the Apocrypha. Second Ezra 11:39.
The second Ezra chapter 11, verse 39.
Come on with it, man. See that? All of the nations that were confederate against it. And it started with who? The Assyrian Empire, the Africans, the Hamites, the Assyrian Empire, the Persians, which was Elam, you know, the Greeks, the Edomites. That's what the Lord said, man, the ambassador of the heathens. That's why he named them first. Go ahead, brother. They were all confederate against us, even to this day.
Second Ezra 11:39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
Oh, the Lord's going to bring the end through Esau. The end of whose times? All these people, all these nations on the table of nations, they got some type of rulership or leader or riches in this society. The Lord going to bring an end to all their wickedness by judging Esau first. All right? That's why the Lord said an ambassador is sent amongst the heathen. All right? You can't run from this forever, man. The Lord going to bring it to you. Like Mike Tyson said, I'm going to bring the pain to him. All right? The father's name is Yahweh, and his son name Yahushua. All right?
This is second Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right, man, that's beautiful. And look, remind you, all these nations then put their hands on our people. Okay. So since they've done that, they've all touched the apple of the Lord's eye. They've all touched the apple of the Lord's eye, like poking him right in the eye. All right? You know?
This is First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
That's right, man. Not just Esau. We got to remember all the nations. We got to remember the whole story. That's why they call it his story. You know, we don't want to know Esau's story. We want to know our story.
Our story, his story.
That's right, man. They got books. They got steelers. They got Egyptian hieroglyphs. They got all kind of history books for Esau. But what's our history? Where is ours at? See, the Lord kept it. He still got it for us. You see that? He had it compiled in the minds of prophets, man, over time. His word stood the test of time. The story's still here. See, they wrote about our story from their view. All right? They were right about the God of Daniel on the steelers of Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuchadnezzar. All right? And also Cyrus the Great. But who's writing from our angle? See, the Lord put us in first person view of our own story. All right? And we got the story and we don't want to forget it. We want to remember it even more. See, that's why the Lord said that. Somebody get that real quick. The Comforter, bringing remembrance. Yep, we're going to move these other precepts right away. Yeah, he said the Comforter is going to bring us into remembrance. All right? Because he said we were going to what? Discontinue from our... Yeah, somebody get that, please? Yep, that's the Comforter one.
Yeah.
That's John 14:26.
26. Okay.
Yeah, my memory slippy sometimes.
This is John chapter 14, verse 26. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you.
Right, man. So, all right. He said the Comforter. See, remembering gives our people comfort. All right, but to remember what Esau did to us and still have no hope, see, that's more anxiety. But to remember what they've done to us and to have hope and to know the one that has the keys to hell and death to deliver us, you know, that's power, man. All right. He said what? He said his word is true. Okay, I ain't gotta get it. Good. All right, any more precepts too?
I got it.
All right.
This is Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So if we're not supposed to call those things to remember, because slavery was a part of that hope.
Right.
So those are the things that were written aforetime. I mean, that's a vivid memory that who can forget that? And if you're trying to get somebody to prevent that, you're part of the problem. You're part of the persecutor that was on the flip side of that.
Right. That's why I don't like this whole removing the monuments.
Right.
That they're doing down at Hemet Plaza and all that. They're having a march too on Monday.
Right.
We might try to pop up there. But that's why I don't like them removing the monuments. I want the monuments to stay up. So we can see it. See what they did to our people. Who was this guy, Andrew Jackass? Why is his statue here? You find out he was just like Jeffrey Dahmer. Damn heathen devil, monster.
They named the entire city after him.
Right. So yeah, don't take down the monuments. Keep them up there. Because they're trying to erase their history. See that? They're trying to erase it, man. We walking on the earth and we just here. How the hell we got over here? Ain't nothing to show you, nothing. They were taking out the books to try to get rid of the Bible. All right, one more.
Yeah. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. Woe unto him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. That's why they're trying to remove it. All right, it says, but the Lord got something different for him. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off of many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam of the timber shall answer it. So they could tear all these statues and stuff down, but the Publix that's over there, that apartment condo building that's over, everything is a monument of the wickedness that they done on this earth.
Yeah, we got Africa Town.
Come on.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
If I may add on too, just like the brothers used to say too, as far as when it comes to our people, got to tear down that statue within their mind when it comes to Jesus, man. So even with that, y'all tear down the physical statue. What's that statue in y'all mind?
of the atrocities that y'all put us through still going to be there, man. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai can come pluck your ass up by that way too.
And the thing about it, the statue, let's get beyond the statue. The statue, that's just a piece of metal or a piece of stone. But what does that statue represent? That's what you're trying to get rid of.
Hey,
that's what they really want to get rid of.
That's like y'all version of collecting the crown, man, you know. So y'all got statues up in representation of y'all conquering that y'all did.
So just like there's not a statue of Yahweh Shai standing up, but they want us to forget Yahweh Shai. And they want Yahweh Shai to forget about us. Yep. The only thing he's gonna forget is our sins. He gonna remember everything else.
And then
this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. The bishop was talking about what nation didn't have a part of our affliction. And it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And we're supposed to remember these things that these nations did to us. We're not supposed to forget that, because the saints are patiently waiting on it. And like, this is where we're supposed to like see justice for what been done to our people, like the restoration.
Can you imagine, like, if we forgot everything that we and our ancestors gone through, then the Lord show us to give us salvation? We're like, what is this? Okay, I'll take it. But we're not going to understand. That's the whole point, for us to go through this and for us to get a true understanding of what being a God is.
You'd be one of them jakes that want to save Esau, like the boy from Django.
Yeah.
Jumping
in.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. That'd be confused as hell. Yeah.
he peeked through the cane.
Come between the Lord and and judgment. Like, no. No, don't do it.
Angel of the Lord from the slay the shit out of Esau. No!
Pastor, we sick?
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 4. Hear ye the word of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain? Neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death? And shadow of death today is America. Through a land that no man passed thorough, and it's the second Egypt, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made mine inheritance an abomination. The priest said not, where is the Lord? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit. Right. And that's just, and not only the false prophets of our people, all right, who ultimately cause our people to err, because the leaders of our people have caused them to err, all right, but the whole world itself, all right, are prophets of Baal, man. They end up being a sinister witchcraft like lifestyle, the do as thou wilt lifestyle, which the Lord is not with. The Lord is going to come and condemn.
Right, and that makes a person a beast. They have no order.
Right, just a natural man.
Just a natural man.
Natural.
That's right.
You know, a brute beast, not being filled with the spirit of Yahweh Shai.
Right.
Being filled with the spirit of Yahweh Shai was make you
a man.
A man.
Man, he said, gird up thy loins as a man. And you're going to do that by being in the spirit of truth. And that man is Yahweh Shai.
Right. Right. What it says in Habakkuk, it says the spirit that's within him is not upright, meaning upright. Like, okay, you can physically upright and you're not walking on fours like an animal, but his mindset is a beastly mindset, so he's not spiritually upright. He has no righteousness within him.
Right. So, hey, because you could take like the so-called wars of our people did, and take that rod up his back and stand him upright, but that still don't make him an upright individual in the spirit.
You said it a camp or two ago. It's like people, you talk to somebody, he's like, oh, we're supposed to follow the laws to the best of our ability. And they say, oh, the laws are done away with. It's like, so you just a lawless person.
Lawless, goddamn
You just a lawless person. Well, I just do as, like you said, do as thou wilt.
Right. That's why the Lord said this. This is Hosea 4:6. For my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. All right. So I'm gonna stop there because that's why our people are destroyed, for the lack of knowledge. And the word knowledge means to know-how, or to know the story of our King Yahweh and his son Yahushua and what he's done for us.
Can I add on to that? It's just a lack of knowledge, because we brought the scripture about Baal, which ultimately represent Ace, the devil. All right, you worshiping the devil, and that's how easily our people are tricked and beguiled on this side from this devil and his philosophy and his way of life. The elder did a beautiful lesson this week on Baal, you know, and just the whole clothing brands and the European clothing lines like Balenciaga and Balmain and all that stuff like that. And it's hidden in plain sight, man. The witchcraft that they're forcing our people to commit, all right, to transgress their own power, to transgress their own God.
Yo, they got a new app that just came out. I think it's come out this week, where it's like a magic wand. Oh no. And they got it connected to the lights and stuff in the house, and they're giving it to children. But they got to swing it. They got to swing it like a satanic way.
Yep.
They make some type of symbol.
Yep.
And then it'll cut on. So they're teaching them dark magic.
That's also at the Universal Studios. They give them a wand, and there's stuff set up in the part where like it matches with the sensor of the wand. They can like open up.
Bullshit. Like, who might want to do that? See, Esau is slick, boy.
Yep. Yeah, man. Like they glorify it, make it look cool.
Make it look cool.
Yep.
And there's some, what is it, boy? Ex-kickboxer rich dude always be talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like talking men talk like
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Well, did you bring it out on your lesson? Well, he was basically talking about with the Balenciaga thing. They put it out there in plain sight. And let's take a holiday that's coming up. Now they're openly saying that Christmas is a pagan holiday, right? But what are the people still saying now? Oh, it's just a time for us to get together with family and have fun with the kids. Da, 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 da. But they don't put it out there. I told you that's wicked. So, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, it doesn't matter if you do it directly or indirectly. It's the devil's job to deceive you and cause you to go conform to his ways.
And even on top of that, just like the brother was speaking on, man, with the whole satanic holiday that's coming up, man. They just played the shit in the movie. I want to say the Satan Claus. Within the movie, it said, "Hey, we love Satan." Literally, plain sight, man. Right there, they had the kids spelling out in the letters, man. You know, they were standing next to each other. We love Satan. You know, it's the wordplay. You got the Sunday. It's just one letter. You transition that in to the end. You say in, man. You
know. Baruch 2:30. 2:29 to 30.
Yeah. This is Baruch chapter 2, verse 29. If we will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them.
Right. So our people didn't listen. So the Lord broke us down, and we turned into a small number amongst the nations. All right. We became the low, they became the high. We became the minority, in a sense. But we're one of the biggest nations. All right. So the Lord said we were going to become the tail and not the head. So He kept His promise to us for our people not listening. All right. But we still are an innumerable multitude as the sand of the sea.
But we don't have that innumerable multitude mindset.
Yeah, it's a multitude of wicked. You know, He said, because the scripture said that in Romans, He said the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. That's talking about what? Because once our people fell, that created more Gentiles.
More darkness.
They created more darkness. They created more Israelite Gentiles. But He said, how much more your fullness? So once the elect are set up, so how much more it's going to create? Because we're going to be at the sand of the sea. And then the kingdom is going to make more Israelites righteous, all right? So how much more our fullness? Right?
Yeah, Isaiah said, all thy people shall be righteous.
Come on with it. Yeah. All right? So we're going to go from nothing to something.
Verse 30, for I knew that they will not hear me, because it is stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
Whoa. Ooh. So what is heathen Nicole Arbor talking about? All right, Nikolai Arbor. Well, who the hell is she? You know what I mean? What do you say? He said, in the land of our captivity, we're going to remember ourselves. We're going to remember what the hell we did. Remember who we are. All right? And how we backslid and how we need to get it right. See that? So the Lord, that's why the Lord said that, man. Revelations 1 and 3. That's right. Yeah, Babaka Shah.
All right, this is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
There you go, man. All right. So the Lord told us to what? He told us to stand in the ways and see, and seek the old paths. All right. And look into the book. Man, go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing or not. Basically, the title of the lesson, going into that woman, basically is telling us to forget slavery, or whatever the case may be. Or it was 400 years ago. Well, to the Lord, it was 30 minutes ago. So ultimately, they're going to pay for the sins of their forefathers.
Because the Lord ways and our ways. Ain't a 1,000 years to us is a day to the Lord.
They still got to pay for something. He said, "This man, what? Oh, somebody get that, man."
When they basically stopped us from escaping.
Yeah, brother.
That was one of them.
Yeah, also. Yeah. Saul that said, remember the days of Edom that said, raise it to the foundation. Oh yeah.
Somebody grab. What y'all just called up?
Psalms 137.
Seek ye
Yeah, I
the
got
old
that one.
paths.
Just hold that.
Seek ye the old paths.
I got one.
Yeah, can you get that one? Seek the old paths. Look
It's
at that. Yeah, seek the old paths, and also Job 20 and 10.
This is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see.
Right, you're supposed to see what y'all see today. All right, go ahead. Look for the what?
And ask for the old path.
Ask for the old path, man. Not the new world order, but the old path.
Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
Yeah. All right. Our people don't want to remember. They don't want to consider. Okay. 2/3 of our people. Somebody get that Job real quick.
It's the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, right, and his hands shall restore their goods.
Right. What it say? They leave their substance to their babes. So all their children got corporations, all kind of riches, and they got privilege if they don't have money. You know, they said, what is it? Complexion for the protection for the collection. Paul Mooney said. So they got that. You know, go ahead, keep going.
Verse 11.
They're going to try to seek to please the poor. Like, hey, man, take this little money and forget what happened in the past. Hey, I gave you a job.
3 million? 35. All right.
So they try to erase what they did to us, what they did to the Negro, Latinos, Native Americans. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth.
Right, he look like Kenny G. You like the saxophone player, Kenny G. You gotta look him up, man. He looks just like Kenny G, man. Go ahead, bro.
Job 20 and 11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust.
Right, so his bones what? My bad, go ahead, bro.
His bones are full of the sin of his youth.
So the bones is filled with the sins of Esau's youth, man. Since Esau first got their start with the Greek Empire. It goes way back when Esau was brought out to the borders by the Nabateans, man, in the 8th century. It goes way back to the 6th century and the 5th century where they burned down our temple with Nebuchadnezzar. That's all filled. And they weren't judged for that yet. So the Lord's saying it's still there. All right, ever since their what birth?
620.
I'm trying to say that word. Like ever since their
Conception.
conception. Thank you. I'm about to say contraption. But he said six. Yeah.
Ever since we was in Rebecca's womb.
Ever since Rebecca's womb. Come on with it, man. So read that again now.
Job 20:11. His bones are filled with the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust.
Oh, it's gonna follow him even into the kingdom.
We was fighting in the womb.
That's right. So from there, everything they did is gonna even be remembered in the kingdom. They're gonna say, what? Go like 3 verses? Is this the man? Maybe like 4 verses. Where is that?
Verse 5.
Verse 5. All right. In the kingdom is gonna be said, man.
Verse 4.
So it's gonna follow them into the kingdom. They're gonna be chased around it. Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna chase your ass around the earth. Go ahead, brother. Yeah, vagabond. Yeah. Yep.
Job 20 chapter 20 and verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth? Verse 5. That the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Right, 1,000 years is a day to the Lord, man. This was only like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. 2 days ago, really, with the Roman Empire, what they did. And the Lord said, what? What he catch a thief with the jewel, what is in his hand, what he stole? I forgot, it's in Deuteronomy, I think. He catch it in his hand. I can't remember right now. But he said, what? Even to this day, they still persecuting us. You know? Let me get that. Go ahead, bro.
Exodus 20:16.
When
a man stealeth a man, if he found in his hand, he shall surely put to death.
And they still got the Jews. They still got Israel here, man. You know? They said he openeth not the house of his prisoners.
Oh, shit. Yes, I got you. That's something else.
Go ahead, brother. This the man?
That's in Isaiah chapter 14.
This the man?
Yeah.
And
all right, I don't know why I just saw that. I thought I saw it.
And I was about saying, and just like in Egypt the first time, he's hardening Esau's heart to not let us go.
Oh, he hardened their heart.
Because they don't want to let us go. They do not. Even, and they know what they know. They don't want to let us go.
That's right, man.
Interjection.
Yeah, you good.
Even on that point that the Op brought out, that they don't want to let us go. When you go back to the story of Marcus Garvey, he built like ships to take people, so-called black people, back to Africa. They even sabotaged his ships.
Damn.
I've been sabotaging them too. Like, what are you doing that for? I don't want to go over to Africa. I don't want to be there. Like that. You know what they do in Africa?
I don't want no plate on my lip.
I got you want this man?
Find out it was me.
This is our salvation, not Marcus Garvey and his little ship company.
That's right. We want to go back to Israel. We want the chariot. We want the chariots to take us.
We live in the earth where it's righteous.
That's right, brother.
This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake its kingdoms, that made the whole world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Yeah, another one to back that one up too.
That's right, man.
It's
Go ahead, brother. So is this the man that's in the kingdom? It's gonna follow him all the way into the kingdom. All right.
This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. Wherefore, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our father, which departed from the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And that's the same spirit that she wants us to have. All right. So she wants us to, it says, to be subject to payments. That's what she wants us to continue doing, going for this economical system, to be more subject to these payments and not pulling away, and still staying upon Esau, the one that smote us.
Right. The Lord ain't gonna forget it. He's gonna let it carry on all the way to the kingdom.
So she wants us to have economic freedom.
Right. We're talking about Nicole Arbor.
Wants us to have they always want to have a community of our people. But what about an entire state? What about an entire country, an entire government, an
What about
entire
sovereignty?
world?
Yeah, sovereignty.
Like true freedom.
Yep.
But they can't. People can't. They just want a hood.
Yeah,
That's all they want. They just want a hood.
Yep. They don't want to give us sovereignty because we have sovereign, we have a king.
Right.
Yeah, we wouldn't fall under their jurisdiction.
Right. And they lead us under that jurisdiction because we've been made as many as the sands of the sea, like the brother stated earlier. So this system only stays afloat by the persecution and the oppression of the Israelites.
Right.
The majority.
That's right. And the sins. They
Now,
get paid off our sins. They made corporations off the sins of Jake. Weave, pork.
Man, listen.
Seafood,
Imagine.
adultery.
Yes. Imagine if all of Israel's as the sand of the sea, right? Imagine if all of Israel departed mentally out of Babylon. This shit would crumble instantly. Because we're the ones that bring the wealth here, but don't share the wealth. Don't even understand it.
I just saw a video. It was a dude. It was a manager. The manager at Best Buy. He was expecting big crowds for Black Friday. They had the gate out there. He had his workers prepared. Get some coffee. Wasn't no line outside. It was just a regular old day. A lot of stores was like, "Yo, this Black Friday wasn't the chaos that we're used to. It was calm."
Right. Yep. Isaiah 65 and 14. Let's get back to the point real quick. 65 and 14. Right, man. So the Lord said they want us to forget it, but the Lord ain't forget. He's gonna carry it on all into the kingdom. All right. The hell that they put on our people. And with the return of Yahushua, he's going to wipe away our sins.
Isaiah, you gotta go ahead.
Yeah.
It's Isaiah chapter 65, verse 14. It says, "Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart."
Right. The servants, meaning the elect of Israel, are going to sing for joy. All right. Go ahead.
"But ye shall cry for sorrow of heart."
Talking about Esau, mainly. They're going to cry. He said, what? When that shame cover them. All right. Obadiah, go ahead.
And shall howl for vexation of spirit.
There you go. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. They're going to be howling, man. Like you see, right now, if I cut on the YouTube, we can cut on. No, you know what? Let's talk about the movie from last night, Emancipation. All I heard on there all night was crying and screaming and howling. He got a good depiction of that movie. And I close my eyes and listen. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear it, man. The howling and the screaming. And they were just whipping motherfuckers, hanging them, cutting their heads off. They had the heads on stakes. You don't see that in a lot of movies. With Jake's and slavery, they had their heads on stakes. You ain't see that. When they brought us in there, you see that shit. That's a defeated nation. They put that there to let us know that they defeated us. If you get out of line, it's going to happen to you. Yeah, let's get that real got brother. He said, what? That's why the Lord said the sin that they've done is going to follow them into the kingdom while we in our power. And they got to see us with all that damn power, a bunch of black Adams, Puerto Rican Adams,
Cuban Adams,
and all the 12 tribes, you know. But then and knowing that we got all that power and they got to walk by like this.
Shame shall cover them.
The shame gonna cover them.
And if they're gonna remember, oh yeah, I was a slave master this time. Well, I think I killed him. Oh man, let me. Ooh.
Right. Ooh. Yeah, they gotta look at it. That's why I say that. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. Somebody please. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, verse 14. It says,
great reading too, man.
It says, "Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord Yahweh, or Hashem Yahushai, shall slay thee."
Right. So the Lord said, what? They're going to leave their name for a curse unto his chosen, his elect. They're going to be saying Esau in the kingdom. Esau going to be the new Nigga word. You over there, you Edomite.
They're going to be walking around and tell them, what's up, my Edom?
Yeah, man. So the Lord is going to leave their name for a curse unto them, man.
Same way ours was. Right. Turn into a proverb and a byword.
That's right, man. It's going to be a curse to them to be an Edomite. You ain't going to never want to be that. They don't want to
Esau done away. Not yet.
That's vocab, man. Vocab.
Yeah.
They don't want to be no Edomite, boy. Go ahead, man.
All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors.
Right, so the righteous men are those elect. They're standing up in great boldness, right, in the name of the Lord, not out here just calling themselves Israelites, marching and hooting and hollering, doing steps and shit, and calling on Jesus Christos.
Yes.
No, you're going to stand up in great boldness. What great boldness is that? In the name of Yahushua. He's the great lion, that boldness that they're talking about.
That bold lion that chased the eagle out of the woods.
There you go, man. All right. And that eagle is the Roman Empire.
Come on. IUIC.
Yep.
Verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for.
Yeah, man. Oh, so far beyond all that they look for. Think about how many movies and books that came out. All that they look for, man. Talking about aliens, all kind of stuff, man.
Right.
And then
blind purple people eater.
And then when the aliens actually stepped out, they were like, "Yo,
it's gonna be angels.
It's gonna be angels."
Yeah, man. All right, go ahead.
And then you're gonna see Esau trying to walk around with picks in the head and all kind of stuff. Seeing angels with afros.
Yeah.
They're gonna walking out of afro with glowing afro looking like a Soul Glow commercial or something like that.
Yeah, the Lord ain't gonna need us to point these Edomites out. Like they pointed us out, the Africans pointed us out, said that's an Israelite right there. Give me my musky guns and wine. Give me a harlot. Give me one of their daughters, and I'll tell you where their family is. We're not gonna have to do that. Why? Because the Lord said in the scriptures, I think it's Matthew, it said the angels gonna do the reaping. You can't hide from them. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, verse 3, it says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of Yahweh, and his lot is among the saints?
There you go. All right. That's it, man. How is he numbered among? What the hell? I thought he was just a slave. I thought he was just black. He used to work for me. What the hell? Man, the kingdom, what? The Lord gonna leave their name for a curse unto us, man. All right? We're gonna remember it. Regardless of what they want to forget it. They want us to erase it. They want to whitewash it, but they can't. Yeah, go ahead, brother. You can run some precepts real quick.
This is Isaiah 51 and 22. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, thy power that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling.
Right, slavery. The cup of slavery, man. We ain't waking up in chains right now.
Come.
The fact that we can read these books, the Lord is taking that cup from us. You know, yep, you can see it, my bad. You can see it in the movie Emancipation. When they were getting whipped and they had the whole system going, whipping them and chaining them and cutting their heads off. That's what Esau did to us. All right. But now, later on in that movie, Emancipation, what happened? The Negro, Latinos, Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible. All right. The Lord is a so-called black man. His name is Yahushua. All right. And it's not about color. You know, all our people look different. He's like he like our people. I don't know. He like one of our people. I don't know. So I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because of our hair. Yeah. So, in the movie, they were getting chain whooped and everything. They were keeping them separate. You better not talk, boy. You know, and all that. But then, when they made it to the emancipation, to Abraham's army, the Union, they started talking more. They showed them talking more. And they showed them taking care of each other's feet, healing each other's feet. You know, they gave us a chance for freedom, and that's what we did. Our people did. The information started going again.
I see where you're going with it.
They fucked up. They let us talk.
Yeah.
You can see them moving. They was talking. We were talking.
Oh,
that was the Lord. What? Removing that cup from us slowly, just taking it out of our hand. All right. But now we able to do this.
Talk.
Be able to talk, yeah. That's almost it right there, right there.
That was it. No, go ahead.
All right, it says, all right, Isaiah 51:22, it says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, that pleadeth the cause of his people. It says, behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dredges of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over.
Yeah, we ain't doing that no more. We ain't laying down no more. That's what Esau saying. Get down to lay down. Forget the past. You know, get down there where you're supposed to be, boy. But our God, the one that put us in the condition that had the keys to hell and death, he said, you're not going to drink of that cup anymore. So don't call them master no more.
God. Oh, I got another one too. So because basically, we were able, because of our mental mindset, we weren't upright at heart, so we were able to go through that. But now, through the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, we're upright in the mind now, so we can stand in great boldness in the face of our oppressor that did these things to us.
Right,
all right, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, as such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. And the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty Yahweh. So we're not going to stay upon. We're not going to go. First of all, in this present time, we're not going to go down to Egypt for help. So that really starts now, and it's really certified, and going to put a stamp on it forever once we enter into the kingdom. Because guess what? Our children are going to be born in that same mindset.
Ooh, the Lord gonna bless us to remember. He's gonna bless us to remember everything, man. You know, we probably gonna have a memory that can remember all of that.
Elephant memory.
But we won't die trying to remember it this time. We remember that now. We just Greg Croak.
Yeah.
Everything we went through, the whips and everything, all the pain.
Man, all the mental trauma that it'll cause you to go to, man. Like,
but when he give us that body, that new bodies, oh yeah, we're gonna be able to bear those memories.
Yeah. Bear it right on the ass.
Yeah. Rakai holding his.
This is the book of Isaiah 52:1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments. O Jerusalem, the holy city, where henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
Right, Esau is uncircumcised, you know, and unclean. That's Esau, right?
Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down. O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. God, man, without money. Man, that's beautiful. It says,
man, so we I can't even. We shall be redeemed without money, so we don't need no economic system to be, you know what I'm saying? We need to remember all we need to remember everything they done to us, and remember Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You know, damn economics.
Yeah, she said, yeah, that lady said, we need to focus on the now and the economic building. Her name again was Nicole Arbor.
All right. But if you focus on the now, our people are still oppressed. People still getting gunned down the street. Our people are still a very large majority of the poor. Well, no, I don't say poor, but yeah, of the poor in this country, right. in this world right now.
Right. Just think about if we remembered back then when the Emancipation Proclamation happened. Because when it happened and they said, "Oh, you free to go now," we like, well, what are we gonna do now? Yeah. We had no knowledge of nothing. But imagine if we were in this state of mind we're in right now, and they did that. Oh, what? Bet. This what we see today would have never happened. Because what are we doing right now? We're tearing down this system. So we had that frame of mind that we have right now. Back then, the Lord didn't want us to remember it at that time. But he called it into our remembrance, though we knew this right now.
Right, and even in the movie again, there's a lot starts coming back to me from that movie. And one of the generals that was in Lincoln's army, the Union, he said he was talking to Will Smith, Peter, I guess as a slave. He was like, he was like, yo, so you free? He was like, yeah, I'm free. I get to do what I want. They let me do what I want and things like that. I do more than the most. He was like, well, if they gotta let you, if they allow you to do it, then you're not free. Ooh. If you got somebody that allowing you to be free, then you're not free. You know what I mean? They basically saying you're free to be wicked. Right. The folks against the branch. Yeah, we don't even know what freedom is, man. Can you imagine? The Lord gonna set us so free that we're gonna be free in the spirit. We're gonna be free of our oppressors. We're gonna be free to roam, free to live, free to rest, and we're gonna be free to travel out to the universe.
No passport.
No passport needed.
We will be a passport.
No pass go. That's right, man.
Imagine free of being free of this flesh, being like a blue beast, being without order, without no type of structure.
It's like a wild ass snuffing up the wind. At his pleasure.
A bull that damages
strays alone. That's right, gonna damage itself. All right, precept.
This is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 20. And at that time, when I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise amongst all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. Right. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing our captivity being returned before our eyes. We see captivity. Yeah, we're seeing the captivity being turned back before our eyes. Right? We see this kingdom falling. We see Esau still the seed, and we see the prophecy is playing out, about to play out. Right. It's like if you gotta have your head in the spirit, not in this world. Your head in the world, you're not gonna see it. Right. And we see our salvation coming.
Right, and that's what Esau want to do. They want to keep our people asleep. Look at they've taken every attempt to keep our people asleep, especially through their media.
Come on, they have a lot of distractions, beautiful distractions around.
Right, one of the major ones was Obama. God. That's when everybody caught like, oh wait, we see what they're up to now. Yeah. They trying to put us back to sleep.
That was a beautiful song.
They tried to build Cosby. Yeah. Slip was a Mickey. Yeah, I think so too. But I see the pictures, I don't see it. But
think of like the mindset, okay, man, he Apostle Jake, that they use that even the time then. Like explaining the movie part of the Lincoln Army. Yeah. Just like the Obama now, they try to use that as a front for our people to try to sit there and do more wicked shit and try to erase their
Yep. Imagine that. They ain't had no internet. You ain't even see Lincoln. They just like Lincoln.
It's like I'm not a racist. I got black friends.
But then
black president.
That's right.
I'm not racist. I freed the slaves.
Right. But then when you show up to Lincoln's army and the army general say, hey, that's good that Lincoln said that to you. Since you know him. Oh shit, you don't know him. Yeah, well, how about this? You're in the middle of a war and you're with the army right now.
No training.
So you better get your ass back out there, boy. Oh, I thought I was free here with y'all. No, this is the army. You either gonna fight or do this, or start building, do some slavery stuff.
Yeah, do some slavery stuff.
He like, I thought I was free though.
No, yeah, you're free to do what the fuck I tell you.
Right. Yeah, we still got social security numbers and birth certificates and passports you got to get.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 18. Then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people. Yeah, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will see you pouring in wine and oil, and ye shall be satisfied therewith. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and I will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea.
Right, that's talking about the American military. They're fighting the wars over in Desert Storm. I don't know.
And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. And I was basically bringing that out because ultimately the Lord is going to restore the years that the palmer worm and the canker worm and these devils ate from generation to generation. He's going to put them under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 30 and 7. And the Lord, thy power, will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You know, so ultimately the curses and the cup that we was drinking, that cup is being turned onto them. Yeah. All right, but they see that cup coming upon them. You know, so they try to create that critical race theory. They try to hide their iniquity. They try to destroy the monuments and the statues and things of that nature. But their iniquity is already seen. The Lord has lifted up their skirts.
The Lord said He's angry with the wicked every day. You know, okay.
This is the book of Jeremiah 22 and 13. Woe to him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giving him not for his work. You know, going back to what the brothers and the brother Barak brought out. You know, even going back to the times then, how they try to give our people a certain allowance of freedom,
reparations and all that.
Yeah, and all that. But it's really for to build up their own kingdom that they got from unrighteousness. And that's why the Lord is going to repay their unrighteousness with a sword. You know, when it says in Revelations, it said that he sat upon the cloud with a scythe. Man, the Lord is going to come back and he's going to tread the winepress.
Right, he did double unto them what they've done to us. You know, that movie Emancipation is a deep movie, man. All right, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we're the Israelites of the Bible, God's chosen people. The Father's name is Yahweh, His Son name Yahushua. All right, somebody grab Zechariah 11 and 4, and who had precepts? Okay,
this is Proverbs 11 and 8.
Yeah,
it says the righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked come up in his stead. So just like how the icon was just speaking, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the wicked is gonna be, it's gonna come. The wicked is gonna come in our stead. You know what I'm saying? The righteous is gonna be delivered out of trouble. All right, and they're gonna be in the same predicament we was in, but like Squire said, they're gonna get double.
Right, man, double. You know, because they're children of the Most High too, and the Lord gonna chasten them in the kingdom. But He gonna chasten them so much they ain't gonna be able to stand it. They gonna damn disintegrate. He gonna whip their ass off. Shit ain't gonna exist no more.
Whipping out of existence.
Somebody with a belt, they go poof, poof. All right, yeah, man. America's about to be destroyed, man. Yahweh's about to return, send His Son, Yahushua. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans gotta wake up. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, this is Zechariah 11 and 4. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors, slay them, right, and hold themselves not guilty.
There you go. So the Lord said, forget what they're talking about. Feed the flock of His slaughter, man. Feed the flock of His people that have been slaughtered. All right. But He said what? He said,
whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Right. So they're the possessors. The Lord put us in their hands. He said, we're going to go to them for the want of all things. He gave the whole earth to the hand of the wicked. You know, but He said, what? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, man. They hold themselves not guilty. You feel me? But the Lord said, this is court. He's the judge, and we're giving the testimony. And they little silly asses showing up in there trying to defend themselves. So I ain't do nothing. Calling themselves not guilty. The Most High is the judge. You see that? The righteous judge, man. Go ahead, brother.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Right, so they think the Lord is with them. They even think the Lord looks like them. You know, they think they're God's people. They think this is a God-fearing country when it's not. It's nothing but paganism here. The God that they fear is Satan. All right, meaning the power on the left-hand side. They don't fear the Most High Yahweh or His Son Yahushua. They fear the devil. All right, precept anybody? Go ahead, brother. That's right, man. What's up, brother? Shalom, shalom. We had to wake up the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans that we're the Israelites of the Bible, God's chosen people. The word Israel comes from the Hebrew word Yashar Allah. That was our name when we came over on the slave ships. Yasha Allah. Yah means he. Shar means prince, princess of power or with power. So we got power, man. Yes. And you know, we got power, but we going. The Lord said we were going to grope in the dark, meaning reaching for the wall and safety. You know, in the dark, you're looking for something to lean on. Right. That's what our people doing, like Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, all these different people in the churches, the Masons. Everybody looking for a way out. Everybody looking for a way to safety, a way back to God. Right. But the Lord said there's only one path, one way, and that's through His Son, Yahushua. They taught us that His name was Jesus, or Jesus. Right. Jesus just means Hail Zeus. It's the devil's name. Right. The word devil means diablos in Spanish, meaning deceiver. So who deceived our people? You see that? These are the ones that deceived our people. Look at all these, look at that. These are the Rothschilds. They own all the money right now. Trillionaires. Right. That's what's the name? Elizabeth's son. Jacob Rothschild. Right. Some shit. I forgot what he is, but he's one of them. Look at these people, man. Yeah. The Rockefellers, you know, George Soros, you know these names. Right. Who are these people? We ain't vote them, man. Right. Why they running things? Why they trying to come up with a new world order? Why they trying to put that into our bodies right now? What is that? Right. You giving us? I can't say it on the camera, but you know what I'm talking about. Right. With the V, the vacuum. Yeah. Right. See what? The CV, that right there. I can't say it on the camera. They're gonna shut that video. Right. But all that's a setup for this. It was all fake. It was all fake, man. Right. It was during flu season. Okay. People got the flu and they like, no, it's this. Don't take that. And you gotta get this in the end. Right. See what I'm saying? So those that get this, where is that? This right here? Right. That's what it looked like. They're gonna get that. Remember that from Terminator? They're gonna get Sinead O'Connor. Yeah. They're gonna get burned up. Yeah. With nuclear missiles, man. You know, Malachi 4:1. Malachi 4:1. You know the Lord looks like us, man. Yeah. You do? That's what's up, man. You know where to find it in the Bible? No. It's cool. It's cool.
That might be is it might be Solomon?
Solomon. He is Solomon. That's cool. You don't even know what you just said. We teach that Solomon reincarnation is in the Bible. Right. Reincarnation means to be reincarnated, meaning put back into the flesh. Right. So we don't really die. See, the Greeks and the Romans, they taught it in science. They taught us that when we die, our body goes to the ground and then we evaporate. Like you don't have a soul. Right. These are just bodies, meaning abodes or homes for the spirit. So when we die, we come back we go to the Father. He sends us back to the earth to live out our judgment. So when we died over time, during the Greeks and stuff like that, the Lord sent us back here in slavery to live out our punishment. Right. You see that? So now we're back here again, looking at each other in the face after slavery, 400 years, 500 years. Yeah. Now we're here to get the reward. Now we're here to get the message. Right. The gospel. The gospel. The good news. Right. That you're an Israelite and you're about to rule forever. Okay. But it's only one way to do it. Not the money, not the church, not the Black Panthers, taking the gun. Right. That's their blessing. That's Esau's blessing. Right. That was given the sword to kill us with. But our blessing is the spirit of truth.
All right, this is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, and verse 1. For behold, the day cometh, they shall burn as an oven.
Oh, the day is coming that's going to burn as an oven. Right. And you see in Russia and I'm creeping up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that about CBU's.
Come on.
You already ride out.
Right?
Yeah, I'm on it.
That's all in the Bible. We ain't gonna hit you too much.
Right.
You go home and watch the videos on YouTube.
I found it. I already know about it.
Come on with it.
Google them.
Yep.
Already.
You already did, yeah.
Yeah, I did my science.
That's right. That's right here. That's our YouTube page.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna be on there too.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir, with your friends.
Yeah.
And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble.
Right. So when the Lord say repent, He means turn back to Him. Right. Keep His laws. Stop eating pork, shrimp, lobster. Right. Adultery. Yeah. Talking about physical and spiritual. Okay. Spiritual adultery is like idol worship, crosses, and all that. Saying the Lord looks like this. Saying the Lord looks like that. Yeah. And calling on Zeus. Yeah. Right. Calling on Islam, which is a stone that they worship. They bow down to a cobblestone.
Right.
March around.
Yeah, right. The cobblestone is wickedness too.
Right.
And, they called them Mohammedan back then. Islam started around the 5th century.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
In that day that cometh shall burn them up.
Right, so all these people walking around, they're going to get burned up, man. The Lord is looking for how many? Let's get that. Revelation 7, and Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. All right. The day that's coming is going to burn them up. Remember the Lord said he wasn't going to destroy the earth with the flood anymore. Right. With it, brother. You know what I mean? We don't. It's looking more, right? Let's get this real quick.
Saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall lead them neither root nor branch.
Right, man. So the Lord gonna destroy all the descendants of those people. These people here. So the Lord gonna destroy all the descendants. The one that got rich off of that.
Right.
And they walk around here like nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We got judged, but not listening to the laws that were given to Moses.
Right.
Moses was from the tribe of Haiti, the Haitians.
Right.
That's Moses' tribe, Levi.
Okay.
The Benjamites are the West Indians.
Okay.
The Judites, the Lord's tribe.
Right.
Negroes.
Okay.
But we're the worst ones. Right? And then you got the Ephraimites. They're the top tribe of the Latinos. That's one right there, Puerto Rican.
Okay.
They call them rich port. Why? Because there's a lot of riches over there.
Yeah.
And they took the riches from them. See what they named us, man?
Yeah.
But the Lord said, these are our names. And we Yasha'Allah, the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeah. We're all one, but who the main ones against each other right now? These people. Yeah. These people right here, they hate each other.
Yeah, they hate
killing each other, walking down the street.
Yeah.
That's a curse on our
I was just telling my mom that how we just hurt and kill each other.
Yeah.
Don't make no sense.
That's part of the curses. Because our people didn't listen. The Lord said, I'm going to put curses on you. And one of the curses was, somebody got that? Yeah, somebody get that real quick. I'm going to let the words speak. My jacket.
I lived it up there in Portland.
Oh, Seattle. Shit. Yeah, that's it. I'm from Philly, man, but I guess I'm going to get too comfortable.
Yeah, you did.
Get a little complacent. Sorry, brother.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 54.
Yep.
So that the man that is tender among you,
these young bucks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
Well, what happened when they walk on the street? Read that again. This is a curse.
His eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
See that? That's what happened? Abortions, domestic violence amongst each other, adultery, killing each other for no reason. But it's like a cancer to their people. But who get to walk around freely? Who get to walk around freely? Walking right by them. Walking right by them. Chilling.
Yeah, you're right.
But then we walk in the street, we see each other like, you looking at me? Like, yeah. I'm looking at my mirror reflection.
Yeah.
You hate me, not you, but you hate me because you hate yourself.
Right.
We're a reflection of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't reflect from them.
No, you can't.
Right, oh, that was it, right? Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6, and it says, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Oh, so the Lord said, you're, read that again.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So we're a holy people to the Lord out of all the nations on the earth. There's 18 nations on the earth, right? All these nations. Right? All these nations. But we're one nation. Right. All the nations on the earth. The Africans too.
Right.
They're the Hamites. We're not Hamites.
Yeah, nobody.
Come on with it, bro. All right. So he said what? He said we chose us to what?
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Come on with it, man. We special. What did the Lord say? About 2 parts therein? Yeah. Somebody please get that one? And we're going to get like 3 precepts to finish the point. What we were talking about.
Zechariah.
Oh, precepts, like scriptures.
Chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land saith the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai.
So all the land. So this, what land is it talking about? Babylon, America. It's the daughter of Babylon. The word Babylon goes back to the word confusion.
Yeah, all the way back to the beginning, dang.
The ancient Babylon.
Right.
You know?
Like, it's in the book of Genesis.
That's right, brother. Yep. And he had another Babylon later, during the 5th century.
Okay, yeah.
But the one you're talking about now is during the 2nd century.
I'm talking about
BCE.
like the one right now, too.
Yeah, Nimrod.
Right.
That's right, brother. Right?
Tower
of Babel.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That goes into the New World Order.
That was the second, right?
That was the first.
Oh, that was
First, that's similar to what was going on now. How what you described.
Okay.
Yep. And the second Babylon would be more of a place of business.
Okay.
Hey, we gotta get out this week. I don't know. We're gonna wrap. I think we should though. Yeah. All right, no doubt. I seen that in the message last time. All right, go ahead, bro.
Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein.
Right. So if you had a pie and you cut it in the thirds, he said 2/3 going to be cut off, right, of our nation and die, and one going to be left to be saved. That's it. But mind you, Israel is at the sand of the sea. Can you count the number of the sand? No. You grab 2 piles of sand in your hand, you don't know what's there. He can't. Right. And he look at us like that. He's gonna take 2 parts of that and throw it away. Just like the time of Noah's flood. Right. Only 8 souls made it. Right. And he restarted the nations from Noah. Right. Noah had who? Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Right. Ham, African, all the African nations. Japheth, the Hawaiian Samoans. Right. Shem, Esau, the Caucasian race, and us. Right. And then from us, you get 12 nations. Right. See that? Mm-hmm. So he started everything with that with Noah. He destroyed everybody and left 8 souls. Right. So which thing he gonna do here? He said this time he gonna do what? Revelation 7? I think so. Yeah.
Revelation 7:4. Yeah. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
That's about to happen right now. Only reason it ain't happened yet. Only reason it didn't happen yet. Yeah. You know, it's like hell breaking out all over the world, but it ain't happened fully here yet. Yeah. This is why Revelation 1 and 7 and 1. My bad. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Hold on. So they're holding it back. Right. Get it, right? The 4 corners represent what? Not 4 corners of a table, the 4 hemispheres. Meaning north, east, west, and south. So they're all over the earth, holding back the ultimate destruction, the third woe. Revelation 11, where it said the third woe coming quickly. The Bible speaks about the Third World War.
Damn, that's between. We're gonna start with China and Russia. They're already popping off right now.
Yeah. That's right, bro. That's right. That's right. So that's why see, you got that in your spirit, man. Yeah. The Lord know that. He like, you need a little bit more. Let me give you this.
Right.
Put a little ice on the
I've been reading the Bible a lot. I used to read the Quran.
Yeah, I know.
I used to read the Bible a lot. So I was trying to find my place. So I installed it in my daughter. She reads the Bible now. You know what I mean?
So that's cool.
That's what
I got 2 daughters. Man.
Yeah, and God say train your daughters.
Train your children up as they should go. They should not depart.
That's right.
No, they will not depart, man. That's what we want to leave behind.
Right.
It's truth. That's what our people are looking for. All right, let's bring these out real quick. Second one. What was you reading, bro?
7.
Yeah, hold the spot real quick. Go ahead. Third one. Yep, third one.
This book of Revelations, chapter 11 and verse 14. Yep. The second woe is past.
The same hour, real quick.
13.
All right, Revelations 11, starting at verse 13.
Wait, can we start from 8? 8 to 13, 11 and 8, yeah. It'll make more sense for you.
All right, Revelations chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt.
Oh, this place is not Sodom, it's not Egypt, but it's spiritually called that. It got the same spirit as Egypt here. Monuments, pyramids, you know. Idolatry. But then you have sodomy. Like Fred Sanford used to say.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? Sodomy. And it's getting worse. They're pushing it more. They're giving them rights. So much that we can't even say it on the camera.
Well, this area here is their homeland.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, right? I know. So, right. So he said, what? Their dead bodies shall lay in the streets of the great city. America's that great city, Babylon. Yeah. But the dead body is not talking about physically dead, it's talking about spiritually dead. Right? So we're going to be walking around here. I'm an African. I'm black. I'm Muslim, all that. But now, this is happening right now. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Right, but the word crucified means to X out. Right. So they try to do away with the Howard here, and they brought all the lies here. Right. You know, the white meat. Right. That's not the brown meat. Right. I got it. You know, go ahead. They taught us the Latin and Jesus. They didn't teach us the Hebrew. Yahweh. Right. That's the key. That's his name. Right. So you're hearing the Messiah's true name right now. Right. And here you go right here, written in the true Hebrew. Boom. You seeing it? Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh. Yep, that's a Yah. Yeah, here you go. This is a breakdown of it. Yah. And say every two syllables. Yahweh. That's the Most High. What did the Native Americans, the hyena window, they say, hey, Yahweh. Hey, Yahweh.
Yeah. The Indians said it too.
Our people knew that.
Yeah.
But they took that from us.
Right.
Yah, say every two syllables. Yah, ha, wa, shai. Three syllables. You know, one.
Ha, shai.
Ha. Say that Yah.
Yah, ha, wa,
ha. Shy, like somebody that's shy. Yeah. You shy. You know, the person shy.
Yeah, I see what
you're talking about. See it? Right. That's right, brother. Right there. You got it. You say Yah, ha, wa, shai. Yahweh Shai. Okay. That was his name. It'll be Joshua in the English.
Yeah, Joshua.
Well, Joshua is Yiddish. Okay. That's Yiddish. That's the fake name. There's no U's and no E's in Hebrew. So it can't be Yahshua. See that? Right. So we giving you a straight skinny, man. Right. Howard Shai is his name.
No V's either. You might hear somebody say.
No V.
Yeah.
That's not it. But you always want to start not with a W, not with the Y sound. Right. You want to start with the Yah sound. Yep. Remember that. Right. Yep. Yahweh Shai. Right. And when you get home to practice it, when you pray, you'll see something. You come out at night with well,
check this out. Like, how many days you come out here?
Every Saturday.
I'll be out here next Saturday.
Yeah, man.
I might have to march up back home.
Yeah, real quick. Last precept. Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel you on that. Okay. What you was reading? Revelation 11. Yeah. Anything? No, read what you was at.
Revelations 11 and 9.
I'm gonna go faster.
And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half.
350 years, right? Before we woke up to the truth in 1960. You'll see all that on the page. Go ahead.
And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Right, they wouldn't allow us to read. You know, right. I better not catch you reading, boy. Right. But they wouldn't allow us to be put in graves. What happened when you put somebody in the grave? You put them to rest. Right. They wouldn't allow us to rest. Right. All right. And we find rest in this truth. It's comfort. You know, go ahead.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another.
So gifts. What was that? Gator bait.
Right.
Remember that? Right. They sent gifts one to another. They were married. Look at
because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth.
These two prophets, the northern kingdom, which would be the Latinos, right, from here down, right, and then the southern kingdom. Those are two witnesses on the earth for the Lord. All right, go ahead. Now Elijah and Moses talking about the nation. Northern kingdom, southern kingdom of Israel. Go ahead. And quick, I told you.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them.
Oh, the spirit of life. What's that? Spirit of truth. That's what you're getting right now. Okay. Spirit of truth is entering into you. Okay.
And they stood upon their feet.
We stand upon our feet.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Right. Fear is falling on these people. There's fear falling on these nations because they know once they see the prophets, they're going into slavery. It's over for them. The Lord is about to judge that thing. Right. Go ahead.
And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them.
Oh, so after all this teaching that we're doing down here, what's going to be the outcome of that? Us waking up to the truth. He said, what? He said, then what?
And they heard a great voice from heaven.
We're gonna hear a great voice from heaven. Say what?
Saying unto them, come up hither.
Come up hither.
And they ascend.
This is what you look for.
Right.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
Right. So on the day of salvation, we're gonna get taken up into chariots, what Esau calls UFOs, unidentified, but we can identify them. In the book of Ezekiel, we'll talk about them. The book of Zechariah, all throughout the Bible, we'll talk about the clouds of heaven.
Right.
Right. And that's what the Lord delivered us out of Egypt with. Right. Fire by night, cloud by day. All right. It's an object in the sky that leads us out. Go ahead. Swing low, sweet chariot. Yeah. Coming for to carry me home. Right. With no planes around.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake was
right. So America is broken up into 10 FEMA zones. So they basically saying all of America is going to be broken up. Right? It's going to be like targeted strikes from Russia. Right? But the Bible is accurate, man. Right. Let me be quick.
And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000.
The word 7,000 right here means complete, like a number. You don't know. It means innumerable number. All right. So it's going to be 2/3 destroyed, and these nations are going to be destroyed here. Everybody you see walking around. Go ahead.
And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven.
Right. Go ahead.
The second woe is past.
Now the second one is going to be past. What was that? World War II, 1938 to 1945. That's past now. It's still kind of lingering because they still got peace treaties from that. Right. In North Korea, South Korea, and all them. Yeah. But they still got a war going on.
Oh yeah.
But once these missiles drop,
that's what I was telling them. They always had these wars going on, but a lot of people did not know what was going on. But they'll
tell you their vision. Yeah.
But it's coming out now. Yeah. It's coming out now, and now they can't stop it.
Right. Wow. Yep. He said now it's going to be past. Now we're entering into a new war, which is going to be nuclear. Oh. Go ahead.
The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Oh, the third woe is coming quickly.
North Korea already tested every other day.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to get it over this way.
The nuclear missile called ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. They also known as the sword of the Lord. Right. The weapon of his indignation. Man.
Right.
Hey man, what's your name?
Angelo.
Man,
nice to meet you.
Angel. That would come from Angel.
All right.
That's right, man. How are you, bro?
All right. I'll see y'all next Saturday. What time?
We used to be out here from 10 till whenever the spirit tells us.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Y'all have a good day, man.
All right. Shalom.
See you again, man.
Hey, thank you for the education, brother.
No doubt, man. Thank you for the ear, brother. No doubt. All right, let's keep. Where was we at? We were reading before he walked in. 9% battery. Okay. Yeah, he's a pleasant spirit, man. Yeah. Very humble. Yeah. Any precept I want to bring out? It's all good. Yeah.
This is Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord.
Ooh, see, you're not aware. They want us to forget. See, who's gonna warn you then? That was found. The Lord had them build these ICBM missiles. He set a snare for them, a trap that he saw to trap the prey. And they were not aware, man. Have no idea. You had no idea.
They forgot until Abba Bivens came on the scene.
Yeah, he came back to remind them quick.
Came back to remind them real quick.
Yeah, the Lord said, I thought what Mr. was saying. Somebody said you were looking for me.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I remember my mama did it to me one time. She told me I did something in the morning. She said, I'm going to whoop your behind, right? That whole day went by. I ain't heard nothing about no whooping. Soon as I get out the bathtub and dry off and put on my pajamas. You know, you have on the thin pajamas. Yeah. So you thought I forgot? Told my behind up. That's how I was like going to show up on Esau. You thought I forgot?
Yeah, no. John must have forgot.
By the head?
Verse 25. The Lord had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, God of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans.
That's beautiful. It says it's the work of the Lord of hosts. And that word host means armies in the land of the Chaldeans. That's here, America. The weapons of indignation, the ICBM missiles that the elder was just explaining to the young brother about, man. That's how the Lord's going to destroy this place, man. His spirit is going to be within the missile, making sure they detonate. Ain't going to be no duds.
Yeah, they're going to fly to their mark. Everybody got something? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get into this real quick, man. How much time we got? 8%. All right, James 5 and 1. James, yeah. James 5 and 1 and 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. All right, so, yeah. Nicole Arbor, she wants our people to forget. Just like those fake, the fake Jews, which are really Khazars, Edomites, they want us to forget too. That's why they're mad about a movie called Hebrews to Negroes. What does that tell you? Hebrews to Negroes tell you how we went from Hebrew to Negroes today. from being Hebrews to being called a byword and a proverb. So that's the remembrance. They want to get rid of that. See that? Damn devils, man. All right, we get it.
James 5 and 1.
Yeah, what about the shot?
James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men.
Yeah, go to now.
Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
That's what they're doing. They weeping and howling. Said hit dog gonna holler, right? Well, they got hit. The Lord didn't hit them. He done wounded them. That's what we know they wounded. That's why they whining and crying, trying to talk over us and stuff. Go ahead.
Verse 2, your riches are corrupted and your garments moth-eaten.
Right.
Your gold and silver is cankered.
Right, and your garments are moth-eaten, meaning all this system that they created, it got holes in it. All right, and your gold and silver is cankered, meaning like a cancer. And what is that cancer that they created, that dollar that they created through slavery, and to make money through slavery? What has that done to the world? Go ahead, the cankered.
Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you.
Whoa, that goes into what we read earlier, where the beam shall cry out to the stone. So the rust of it, what happened when a cancer affects that tree?
Tree that's starting to deteriorate.
It's gonna rust or whatever, mildew. So that mildew is a witness of what David created has done. And the cancer, the rusting upon our people, the hell and destruction on the earth is gonna be a witness to what they've created. All right, to the dollar, their system, everything they created, it caused all the corruption and destruction on the earth. All right, so the gold and silver is going to be what? A witness against them.
Also, they got pictures of like some of the elites at Fort Knox and a room full of gold. They all like, oh, look at all this gold. It's like you got all that gold, wealth, power, just running the ground and the shit, running the earth into the ground.
Right, man. In the emancipation movies, all of that stuff is a witness against these devils. They got all the riches and we got all the poverty. Our people got all the damn slavery and in the short end of the stick. The crumbs, thank you, man. Crumbs. We got all the crumbs. That's right. And that's why the Lord said everything that they created as tools to destroy our people is going to be the destruction of our people is going to be a witness against us. All right, let's go, man.
And shall, come on, start from the James 5 and 3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
There you go. That's that punishment that's going to come upon them, especially in the kingdom. It's going to be like a flame in their damn skin. It's going to be them ass whoopers. All right.
Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
There you go, man. That's why I say Israel, Judah is going to be a flame and Israel a fire. Right? It's going to be like a fire in their flesh. That's why I say the rich man lift up his eyes in hell. It's going to be like flame, but it's going to be the judgment.
Verse 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud.
Right. All right, go ahead. Read that again.
Behold, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud, riot. And the cries
right,
of...
So even the hire, what's that? That's all the count, all the damn slave boarding lists that they've thrown away, all the ships that they've sunk, like the one they just found recently called the Clotilda, you know? So all the money, the dollars with Andrew Jackass on there, and what's the other one? George Washington, you know? Abraham Lincoln, all these devils on their money. You know? So the Lord said what? The hire of the laborers, which is kept back by fraud. So they kept everything from us by fraud. You know, that what you call that? Reparation.
And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth.
There you go. So now our cries have finally reached into the ears of the Lord of armies, man.
That's scary.
That's scary for them.
Yeah, scary for them.
Right. So the Lord allowed our cries to reach their ears. He wasn't hearing us in slavery. So Esau was like, oh yeah, God doesn't see us. See that? But he was watching the whole time. He just left us hanging because we were being wicked, man. All right? You got something?
Psalms 50 and 21. These things thou hast done, and I kept silent. And thou thought that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Yeah, y'all thought the Lord forgot. So yeah, you're gonna be reproved, just like we reproved through our backslider reproved us. Your wickedness is gonna reprove you. And the Lord gonna bring destruction to this nation, Edom, man, and to the rest of these nations that was in a confederate. So they thought because the Lord allowed this to happen to us, like you thought the Lord was on your side like that.
This book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. Just the first part, it says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I just want to get that first part because the Lord knows all the afflictions we've been through, all the atrocities that have been committed against us. Now, he know our poverty, our lowly estate. But he says, but we are rich, man, because the Lord loves us. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is dealing with us. His ears are open to our prayers, man. So that's what makes us truly rich. You know? So,
like the elder said a little second ago, like during that time, the Lord wasn't hearing our prayers. There's like an iron curtain over our head to where but now our prayers are piercing the clouds, man.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 21. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? For what if Yahweh, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? God, man, and I brought that out because Esau, even though he thinks that he went through that short period of oppressing our people daily through slavery, they think that the Lord is not with us. But ultimately, the Lord is long suffering, and he forgives our sins, the ones that turn back, and he's going to remember Esau and the other nations sin for what they did to the children of Israel, for touching the apple of the Lord's eye.
I got free stuff.
Amorites and Moabites is like the weirdest nations on the earth, man. Weirdest.
Going off what you said earlier, in the times of slavery, he wasn't hearing our prayers, all right, because he turned away from us. This is Jonah chapter 2, verse 3. For thou hadst cast me into the deep in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about, all thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight. All right, so you feel as if you've been cast out of the sight of the Lord. Yet will I look again toward the holy temple. And that's what we have to do. No matter how many times we fall, no matter how much chastisement and punishment that we're taking, a foolish person will be like, oh, I fell out of favor with the Lord, so I can just, go do whatever I want. No, we're going to turn to the Lord and fight for him even more, fight to get to him even more.
Like, oh, that's what we're
exactly. You got to fight even harder to get to him.
Right. And Solomon said that when he dedicated the temple, man. He said at any time we find ourselves in adversity or in any type of calamities, we turn towards that place, man, and pray and call on the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to deliver us.
Right, but we got to remember to do that.
All right, brother. We got to shut it down after that. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is. So that beast is yet is still established as it is now. All right, from the ancient Roman Empire to now this new infrastructure of the new modern day Roman Empire. All right, but hey, those who are going to be wondering who the mystery of iniquity still is those who are not written in the book of life. But those who are promising who may be written in the book of life, who have a chance at salvation, is going to see that the mystery of iniquity doth already work. All right, the Edomites is the so-called Caucasian race that's before us that put forth all this iniquity and all this rape, robbery, and murder throughout the four corners of the earth.
And ain't that beautiful? Because they thought when Rome died off that the Lord was going to forget. But the Lord said, "Art thou the last kingdom?" That when the Lord chased the eagle out of the woods, that was the Roman Empire. So the Lord did what? He set the Roman Empire back up again today with NATO, EU, and America.
Right. That's why he said the end is going to come through them.
Come on.
Oh, dude, man, good point, bro. Great. Precept. Nice. Good. I think we shut it down because the camera ain't good. We can probably go all night right now. Look, that's weird. All right, man. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right, we're gonna end it, man. Wrap this one up, man, so we don't lose the battery on the phone. But thanks for joining us, whoever listening, man. Thanks for your support and sharing our videos. Or just hit the like button or just watching. You know, because the more you watch and the more you believe, the more we have a chance and quicker chance of getting out of here. Hastening the day. Reaching that 144. And you can play your part in that by sharing the videos. All right, so with that, we're going to end it. We're going to say, call,
Alive, La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha, Rakah, Kadash, Mama.
Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders, and shalom to you, Akim, and Aquatim children that believe in sincerity and truth, man. And with that, we're going to say, shalom.
Shalom.